Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about What If Naruto Returns Changed Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. It is said that one little, seemingly irrelevant event can have enormous consequences. Naruto Uzumaki was about to learn this lesson, and he had no idea what effects this would have on his future. Young Naruto had just failed the Genin exam for the second time. He had tried hard but still couldn't pull it off. He saw the sad look in Iruka-sensei's eyes when he had to tell Naruto that he had failed, but he could not, and would not make an exception for the young 11-year-old. Naruto was now sitting on the head of the fourth Hokage looking over the village. He was very sad but tried to look at the bright side. At least I won't have to be with ninja older than I am, he thought. However, he knew that if he failed one more time then he wouldn't even be paired with ninja his own age. He would be the only student to ever fail 3 consecutive times. Most had dropped out of the academy after failing the second time, but Naruto refused to give up. He stood up and yelled to the village, even if no one could hear him, "I will not give up, and I will never surrender. I am Naruto Uzumaki and I will be the Hokage someday," he yelled. "Oh really?" said a voice behind Naruto. Naruto turned around and saw a man completely wrapped in a black cloak that hid every feature about him. "Who are you?" yelled Naruto fearfully, afraid that this man would hurt him. "So you want to be Hokage, do you?" asked the man, completely ignoring the question. "What's it to you?" yelled Naruto. He was sick and tired of others putting down his dream. "I just want to know why you would want to be the Hokage. Few have that as their dream and I find it intriguing that one so young would have a dream so big," the man said. "Well, if you must know," Naruto said while puffing out his chest and trying to look confident, "I want to be Hokage so that everyone in this village will stop treating me like I'm a nobody and finally give me some respect." The man simply looked at Naruto for a while, saying nothing. "That's stupid," he said. "What do you know? I will be Hokage no matter how much you laugh and tell me that it is impossible," Naruto yelled. Now I never said that you wouldn't be the Hokage, I simply meant that your reason for being the Hokage was stupid," the man said. "Huh?" the confused Naruto said. "Why do you care what others think about you? Don't you have anyone who already acknowledges you?" the man asked. Naruto thought about it, and the faces of Iruka, the third Hokage, and the people at the ramen stand came to mind. "Yeah, I guess I do have some people who acknowledge me," he said. "Then that should be enough. I have seen you around the village and see your pranks and very loud personality. You do all that to gain some form of recognition, don't you?" the man asked sadly. Naruto was shocked that this man knew so much about him. Most of the villagers didn't know, and didn't care to know anything about him. "Yeah, well, at least when I do those things then they acknowledge me," he said. The man looked at Naruto, and even though Naruto couldn't see his face he could tell that this man had a sad look on his face. "Naruto, you shouldn't do things like that to gain their recognition or acknowledgement. It's meaningless," he said. "What do you know? You have no idea what it's like to be looked at as if you are trash or some demon. You don't know what it's like to have people look at you as if you are nothing," he yelled, infuriated at the man for telling him that what he was doing was meaningless. "Naruto, the only people whose opinion should matter to you are those who actually care for you and care about you. I have seen the villagers. They don't care about you and thus you shouldn't try to gain their approval or their respect. You already have the approval of a few people who actually care for you. They should be the ones that motivate your goal and dreams. Tell me, do you even know what being the Hokage entails?" the man said. Naruto had to stop and think. All he really knew was that the Hokage was the best ninja in the village and that the position was one of great respect. "No, not really," Naruto said. "You should find out. You may see that it really isn't the job you want. But if it is, then you will be striving for it for the right reasons," the man said. The man turned to leave, but suddenly turned to the boy. "You say that you will never give up and never surrender, and these are admirable traits for a ninja. However, is that your true nindo? Because if it is, then you will want to change it," the man said. Naruto said. "Never giving up and never surrendering are good traits, but is that all you want to be known for?" the man asked. Naruto looked at the village, deep in thought. What the man said had made sense. Why did he care what people who didn't give a crap about him thought of him? Why should he care about their recognition when he had people who already recognized him and accepted him? He didn't like being known as an idiot or a fool, yet he had believed that even bad recognition was better than known. He had a lot to think about. He turned to the man. I think that I will see the old man now. Maybe I can find out more about what it truly means to be the Hokage. The boy said. By the way, what's your name? I am glad that what I said got through to you. Be the best you can be and don't worry about what anyone but the people who care about you says. If they are proud of you and you are proud of yourself, then that's all that matters. If the villagers change their attitude and decide to acknowledge you, then that's fine, but if they don't, then that's their choice. The man said. Oh, and about my name? He said. Yeah? Naruto said. That is a secret, the man said as he suddenly disappeared. Naruto was left dumbfounded for a moment before he shook it off. He had a lot to think about, and he wanted to talk to the old man. What Naruto didn't know was that that single conversation with the mysterious man would have a large effect on the future. The third Hokage was relaxing from a long day of paperwork when Naruto walked in with a contemplative look on his face. Hello Naruto, is something bothering you? The kind leader asked. Hey old man, Naruto said while still looking as if in deep concentration. Is there something bothering you? Sarutobi asked. Old man, what does it mean to be Hokage? Asked the 11-year-old. Sarutobi was stunned. In all the time he had known Naruto, the child had never asked that question. What makes you ask that, Naruto? He asked. I failed the genin exam for the second time today, he said. You aren't giving up, are you? Asked the third with an expression that seemed to be equally sad as it was alarmed. No, but after I failed I went to be alone and then this man came behind me and started talking to me, Naruto said. Who was it? Asked the Kurio's leader. I don't know, but the point is he brought to my attention that I don't really know what it means to be the Hokage. He said that I should find out if it really something I want to do, Naruto stated. When I told him that I wanted to be Hokage because it would give me respect and acknowledgement, he said that that wasn't a good reason to want to be Hokage. Sarutobi looked at Naruto and saw that he really wanted a truthful answer. He was right, Naruto, he said. Naruto was surprised. He had told the old man that that was his dream for a long time, and yet he had never criticized it. I never said anything before because I didn't want to destroy your only dream. Are you sure you want to know what it means to be the Hokage? Sarutobi asked very seriously. What I say may influence your decision. I want to know, Hokage-sama, Naruto said, looking at him with the same intensity and determination that he would soon be known for. I want to know if the dream I am chasing is really what I want. Fine, take a seat, Sarutobi said. After Naruto was seated, Sarutobi closed his eyes and seemed to concentrate. To be Hokage is not a job for the faint of heart, or those who are not completely dedicated to the job. Everything that transpires in the village is somehow affected by you. Every business, merchant, food vendor, and civilian falls under your jurisdiction. Most of the time you will be doing paperwork that relates to these sorts of things. Every decision you make does not just affect you, it affects everyone in this village, the old man said as he rose from his chair. Then there is the military. You are in command of every ninja in this village. They all must obey you and they all will follow your orders. You will be sending them on missions and you need to know what team specializes in what area as well as what team is better prepared for the mission. You need to know the strengths and weaknesses of every team as you will control how teams are made. This is very important, Naruto, because all of their lives rest on your shoulders. If you mess up and send the wrong team in the wrong situation, then good men and women will die because of your foul-up. You may have to order some ninja on missions that you know are more like suicides missions if it is necessary. You will eventually mess up and the deaths of your comrades will be on your hands, and even then you must persevere and not let the loss of life keep you from leading the village, the old man said. Naruto looked at the Hokage and he saw pain in his eyes and knew that the old man had seen and made his share of mistakes, and was still paying for them today. Come here, Naruto, Sarutobi said as he went to the window. When Naruto had joined him, he asked, What do you see? Naruto looked out of the window and saw the everyday life in the village. Families were walking around, shops and stores were open, and friends were conversing. I see the village, old man, he said, not quite grasping what he expected him to see. That's right, Naruto, and when you are Hokage, every man, woman, and child is your responsibility. Their lives depend on the decisions that you make. As Hokage, you bear the burden of carrying and protecting every person in this village, even if it means giving up your life. There very well may come a time when you must make the ultimate sacrifice to protect the village. You are the guiding light for the village and everyone will look to you for guidance and leadership. To view everyone under you as precious, to place their lives on your shoulders, to protect them with your life, that is what it means to be Hokage, Sarutobi said. Naruto looked at him with awe. He never knew that being the Hokage was such a responsibility. After hearing what the old man said, he felt ashamed of how he always yelled that he would be the Hokage when he didn't have any idea what it entailed. The man was right. To be the Hokage for the simple reasons of wanting respect and acknowledgement was selfish, and was a disgrace to the Hokage who had come and died for this village. Then that is what I will do, Naruto said. What do you mean, Naruto? Asked the third. I will become Hokage, but for the right reasons. Another thing the man told me was that I shouldn't strive to gain the acceptance of those who hate me for no reason. As long as I am acknowledged by those who truly know and care about me, then that is all I need, Naruto said with conviction in his voice. That is very good advice, Naruto. If those fools don't accept you and don't make the effort to understand you, then you shouldn't worry about the acceptance, or their acknowledgement, Sarutobi said. Yeah, I will be Hokage to protect this village. I may not be accepted, but I will protect those that are precious to me with my life, Naruto said. Sarutobi looked at the determined look in Naruto's face and swore that he saw an image of the fourth behind him. Are you sure, Naruto? It will be a lot of hard work, Sarutobi warned. I am sure. I will defend and protect everyone that is precious to me because that is my ninja way, Naruto said. Well, if you need anything, then you can tell me, Sarutobi said kindly. Thanks, old man, I need to do some thinking now, Naruto said as he left. Naruto walked down the street completely ignoring the looks from the villagers. Whereas before he simply pretended to ignore the looks while silently pondering their meaning, he now recognized them but simply didn't care what they meant. If these people didn't want to even give him a chance, then he wouldn't concern himself with their opinions. He returned to the Hokage mountain and sat in deep contemplation for a while. He knew that to become Hokage, then there were some things that he would have to change about himself. He first of all had to become a shinobi, and a competent one at that. No one would follow an idiot into battle. He also needed to control his temper. No one would want an impulsive leader ruled by his emotion either. His skills sucked. He couldn't do a simple clone, his taijutsu was shaky at best, and his ninjutsu was non-existent. Man, I have a lot to work on if I want to be a ninja and then Hokage, Naruto thought. Oh well, if it was easy then anyone could do it, Naruto said to himself as he headed home. Starting tomorrow he was a whole new shinobi. Unbeknownst to Naruto, the man from earlier was watching him and heard what he said. So he took my advice, Naruto Uzumaki. I have a feeling that things are going to be very interesting from now on, he said with a smile as he vanished into the night. Naruto woke up refreshed. Okay, time to become a better ninja. All I have to do is improve my taijutsu, work on my ninjutsu, learn at least one genjutsu, learn to create a clone, learn to better control my emotions, and pretty much change everything about me, he said, becoming more annoyed toward the end of his statement. How am I supposed to do that? He wondered. The library made it very clear that he wasn't welcome, and no one would be able to help him. Iruka wouldn't play favorites, the people at the ramen stand didn't know anything about being a ninja, and the old man certainly couldn't drop what he was doing and train him. I guess I'll see the old man and see what he can do to help, he thought, and he got dressed and left his apartment. As Naruto walked toward the tower, he was once again greeted with the same hateful and cold glares as before, but like last night he refused to even acknowledge the people. They didn't want to acknowledge him, so he would return the treatment. Naruto entered the Hokage's tower and ran into a strange female. She had purple hair in a bun, a trench coat that went to her ankles, a fishnet shirt that left little to the imagination, a tan skirt, and shin guards. Watch where you're going, you brat, she said. Naruto's first reaction was to yell back, but he was trying to rein in his emotions. When he didn't say anything but continued walking, the female ninja grabbed him. Hey, I'm talking to you, she yelled. And you are? Naruto asked. I don't have to introduce myself to someone like you, she stated. Well then, you don't want to talk to me and I don't want to talk to you, so why don't you put me down, and we can both go about our business, lady, Naruto said, trying to keep his temper and failing. And what kind of business could a kid like you possibly have? She asked while neglecting to release him. You don't have to tell me your name? Then I don't have to answer your question, Naruto said smugly. Why, you little? Is there a problem here? Asked Sarutobi, cutting in before the situation escalated. No, Hokage-sama, Anko said, releasing Naruto. Well, that's good. Naruto, did you need something? He asked. Yeah, before this crazy woman grabbed me I was coming to talk to you, he said. Who are you calling crazy? She yelled. Enough, Sareppa said. Anko, you are dismissed. Naruto, come into my office and tell me what's on your mind. Whatever, I better not see you again, you brat, she said to Naruto. Whatever, crazy lady, Naruto said. As they entered his office, Sarutobi looked at Naruto with disappointment. I am disappointed in you, Naruto, he said. What? Why? He asked. The last thing he wanted to do was lose the respect of those that cared for him. You could have handled the situation better. I know that Anko is a little extreme, but you shouldn't have riled her up or called her crazy, the old leader said. She called me brat, Naruto said, looking away with a pout. Yes, she did, but did that make it necessary to retaliate? If you are going to be a good ninja and a good leader, you must learn to control your emotions better, the Hokage said. If you are on mission and your opponent taunts you, do you fall for it and possibly die? Or do you control yourself and think clearly? He said. He knew that what he was saying may have seemed harsh, but yesterday Naruto had come wanting to know what it meant to be Hokage. Sarutobi was now going to make sure that he was constantly reminded what was expected of him as a leader. Naruto sighed. He knew that controlling his emotions was important, but he didn't know how to start. I know that, old man, and I'm trying to control myself, he said dejectedly. The wise leader's face softened. Take it one day at a time, Naruto. Now what did you want? I want to know if you know how I can improve myself. I know all of my weaknesses, but I don't know how to improve on them, he said. Well, what do you need help with? He asked. My taijutsu sucks, my ninjutsu is very limited, my genjutsu is non-existent, and I suck at written tests and I'm hot-headed, Naruto stated. You have thought hard about this, Sarutobi said, surprised. Naruto had a sad look on his face. I never used to think that hard about things. Why is that? He asked. I never used to think hard about anything because, for one, I knew no one would answer any question I had, and two, if I thought about it for too long, then I would wonder why the villagers hate me and become upset. That's why I decided that if I didn't understand something, then I would just disregard it. But as a leader and a ninja, I have to think things through, especially if I don't understand it. If I have to make a decision on a topic I didn't understand, I can't very well ignore the topic and rush a decision. I have to think things through, Naruto said. Sarutobi sighed. He knew that Naruto had it hard and knew that it wouldn't get better for a while. Well, I can't help you that much, Naruto. I don't have the time to train you, and it wouldn't really be fair either. I can, however, allow you to go to the library and check out any scroll you want. If they try to give you trouble, just tell them that I sent you, he said with an edge in his voice. He didn't like what the villagers did to Naruto, and he would take action if need be. Thanks, old man, Naruto said as he started to walk away. Well, I knew that was coming. What should I do now? He thought. Guess I'll get something to eat, then head to the library, he told himself. As Naruto headed to the ramen stand, he saw the lady from before. What was her name again? Oh right, it was Anko, he thought. He was about to leave it at that and continue on his way until he realized that the villagers were looking at her the same way they looked at him. He saw them whispering behind her back and glaring at her with hate and distrust. What intrigued Naruto even more was that she seemed to sense what was going on around her but didn't seem to care. While the glares used to make him feel bad, she didn't look as if they hurt her at all. Naruto followed her discreetly to see if he could talk to her. Anko had entered the dango shop in a bad mood. She couldn't get over how that brat disrespected her earlier. I'd better not see him again for a long time, she thought. She was short on money, so she only ordered a few sticks of dango, but was surprised when the waiter brought more than she ordered. What's going on? I didn't order all this, and I can't pay for it either, she said. They were paid for by that Demmer kid, he said with disgust on his face. Anko looked over to see Naruto walking toward her. What do you want, brat? She said, still angry about earlier. I wanted to say that I was sorry, Naruto said. What? Anko asked, confused. I'm sorry about how I acted earlier. I shouldn't have lost my temper and escalated the argument, Naruto said. Anko, as a rule, didn't apologize. She thought it would make her look weak. However, she was fair, and if the kid would go out of his way to buy her dango as well as apologize, then she should be woman enough to accept. Apology accepted, brat, and for what it's worth, I guess I'm sorry too. It was my fault anyway, she said. Naruto smiled. Normally, if he were to apologize to someone, it was not uncommon for them to brush him aside or completely ignore him as if he wasn't there. Well, enjoy the dango. It's not as good as ramen, but it's still okay. Maybe I'll see you around, he said as he walked away feeling better. Enko looked at him as he left, and noticed the way the people looked and talked about him. She never thought that there was someone else in the village that was treated the same, if not worse than her. She knew about the QB, but to her the kid was simply the jailer. Many thought of him as a demon in human form, but she knew better. She knew from personal experience what a demon in human form was like, and the kid was nothing like that. She continued to eat as she thought more about the strange kid. Naruto Uzumaki, you're nothing like what I've heard, she thought. The next day, Naruto lay on the training ground panting. He had gone to the library and checked out almost every scroll on taijutsu that he could. He knew that he had to start somewhere on improving himself, and so he chose to work on his taijutsu. He wasn't allowed to look at ninjutsu or genjutsu scrolls, as you had to be a ninja to read them. He had looked at every style of fighting they had but couldn't seem to find the style that best suited him. They all felt wrong somehow, like they weren't the right ones for him. Man, what am I going to do? He thought. Suddenly he saw two kunai coming at him. He hurriedly moved out of the way. Who's there? He said. Nice reflexes, brat, Enko said as she came into view. Why did you do that? He yelled. Let me guess, that apology yesterday was a trick, wasn't it? You wanted me to let my guard down, he said angrily. Enko could see the hurt and the anger in his eyes and knew that this wasn't the first time that something like that must have happened to the kid. Sorry about that. I really did mean what I said, it's just that I wanted to see how fast your reflexes are, she said while scratching the back of her head with a sheepish look on her face. Naruto looked at her a long time. So you threw kunai at me? He said. They were blunted. Anyway, you have pretty good reflexes for a brat, she said. You know you still haven't told me what you wanted, Naruto said. Well, I came to see what you were up to. By the looks of it, you have been at it for a while, she said, slightly impressed with how hard he must have worked. Yeah, well, it didn't help that much. I still can't find the right style of taijutsu, and I have no way to improve my ninjutsu or genjutsu, he said. Well, how about this? I'll help you for a price, Enko said. Why do you want to help me? Naruto asked suspiciously. Enko looked at him for a while as if she couldn't think of the reason either. I guess it's because I see how the villagers treat you and you remind me a lot about myself, she said. I lost my parents when I was young and was alone until someone took me under their wing. I was happy until something happened. Afterwards, no one trusted me except the Hokage. I guess I want to help you like I wanted someone to help me when I was younger, she said with a furlong look in her eyes. Naruto looked at her to see if she was just pulling a prank on him. It wouldn't be the first time that someone said they wanted to help him only to take advantage of him later. He couldn't find any hint of duplicity in her face, so he decided to accept. However, he wouldn't take things at face value anymore and would be on the lookout for any hint that she was setting him up just to bring him down. Help how, and what's the price? He asked. Enko let out a sigh of relief. She wasn't good at opening up and was grateful that he accepted her help. Well, you say that you can't find the right taijutsu style for you, so let's start there. Come at me with everything you've got and I'll see if I can help you improve. Oh, and don't worry about the price right now, I'll collect later, she said. Naruto agreed and ran toward her. What neither of them noticed was a lone figure dressed in a black robe watching them from a tree in the distance. After the spar, Naruto was on the ground breathing hard. Enko had barely broken a sweat. He had come at her with almost every style of taijutsu there was. She was very impressed that he could get so many of them down so quickly. You impress me, kid, she said. You have a pretty good grasp of a lot of styles, but none of them are perfect by a long shot. Heck, you can't even be considered proficient. You know what they say, a jack of all trades but a master of none. You need to find one style that best suits you and master it, she said. I know that, he said, panting. But I can't find the style that best suits me. What about the style you were using? It was the serpent style, right? Yes, it was, but I can already tell that it isn't the right style for you. The serpent style relies heavily on one's flexibility, and it mainly consists on the ability to strike fast and quick, she said. Sorry, but I don't know of a style that best suits you. Naruto looked at the ground in defeat. But don't worry about it, she said, trying to improve his mood. You may not have a style that suits you, but we can prepare you for when you find the style that works best for you, Enko said with a smile on her face. What do you mean? Naruto said suspiciously. He didn't like the look of that smile. Well, for one thing, your stamina needs to improve and your speed and strength need to be worked on as well, she said. I want you to run 10 laps around the training area without stopping, and I want it done in 10 minutes, she said. That's crazy, Naruto said. Oh? Maybe you need some motivation, Anko stated. Summoning jutsu. She yelled as a large snake appeared beside her. I would get going, brat. She has a large appetite and hasn't eaten in a while. Naruto wasted no time in talking and ran as fast as he could away from the snake. A while later, Anko was impressed with Naruto. After the lab, she had him start on push-ups, sit-ups, and had him work on his evasion skills by throwing blunted kunai at him. And while he would complain, he never stopped and never gave anything but his best. There was a determination in him that surprised Anko. Hey brat, she said. Naruto looked up from where he was resting. Yeah, what? He asked. What's up with you? The word around the village is that you take nothing seriously, you pull pranks all the time and you suck as a ninja. Yet you do everything I tell you and you do it very well. What drives you? Why do you get up every time you fall and keep at it? She asked. I need to become stronger, Naruto said. My goal is to be the Hokage, and that is going to take a lot of work. I can't stop, give up or quit because the Hokage can never do those things either if he is going to protect everyone in the village, he said to her. Why do you want to be the Hokage so badly anyway? She asked, curious of his answer. Anyone with ears knew that the kid wanted to be Hokage, but very few knew or cared why. It used to be because I wanted acknowledgement and to be respected. However, that has changed. I know now that you can't force people to acknowledge you and you have to earn respect. My purpose to be Hokage now is so that I can protect every precious person I have in this village. I will gladly lay down my life to protect those who care for me, have protected me, and have saved me from complete isolation and loneliness, he said with passion in his eyes. When Anko looked at him, she was stunned. She saw not one sign of compromise in what he had just said. She saw no fear of death, no illusions of grandeur. All she saw was a determination and passion that few of her own colleagues possessed. You know, with that attitude you are on the right track, kid, she said with a smirk. No, let's get back to it. I can't you to become Hokage as fast as possibly, so I can tell everyone that I taught the future Hokage, and get all the free dango I want. Naruto, with a sweat drop, simply looked at her. And people say that I'm obsessed with ramen, he thought. And so it went for 6 months. Anko would train Naruto on the weekends as she couldn't just time off to train him. During the week, Naruto would train with scrolls that Anko had given him to learn. He would also read to try and improve his written scores when the academy opened again. Naruto's chakra control had improved. He had learned the henge as well as the karami jutsu. While not a genius, he still hated written work. He was up to speed with what he needed to know going into the 3rd year of the academy. However, there were still some things he needed to improve on. His taijutsu was still shaky. No matter what he did, he couldn't find any style that seemed to fit him. His genjutsu was still horrible, but Anko told him to not worry about it. According to her, his chakra reservoirs were extremely large for someone who wasn't even a genin. She said that genjutsu would be very difficult for him because of this. Naruto and Anko had grown close over the past 6 months. So much so that Naruto had begun to call her Anko-Nizan. While Anko repeatedly told him to stop, it did make her feel good to be looked up to as a sister. Though she would never say it, she thought of him as a little brother. Currently, Naruto is heading home to rest after another training session with Anko. Man, Nasan is a slave driver, he thought, wincing with every step. He looked forward to getting back to his apartment and relaxing with a hot bath. As Naruto entered his apartment, he knew something was off. Training with Anko had heightened his sense of danger, and it was screaming at him that something was wrong. Naruto took out a kunai and scanned the room. The sun was setting, so there were many shadows for an intruder to hide in. He tried to turn the lights, but when he flipped the switch, the lights refused to come on. Alright, I don't know who you are, or what you want, but if you don't come out in the next 5 seconds, then I will find you and you won't be happy, Naruto said. There was no answer, and Naruto was beginning to worry. Whoever was in his apartment had the foresight to cut the electricity, and now had the element of surprise on their side. He began to back toward the door. If whoever was in the apartment meant him harm, he didn't want his only route of escape to be blocked. He had no illusions about his strength. According to Anko, he was currently about mid-genin in terms of skill. As he backed toward the door, he bumped into a solid body. Naruto immediately turned and prepared to throw his kunai until he saw his intruder. It was the man from a few months ago. He still wore the black robe that hid everything about him. Why are you in my apartment, and what do you want? Naruto. While he tried to appear calm, he was sweating, and his hand was shaking slightly. Oh, sorry about that, the man said. I just wanted to talk for a bit. So why did you cut my electricity and hide in the shadows? Naruto said. He was calming down, and his fear was turning into anger. I wanted to see how much you had improved, and I must say that you impress me. The man replied, I am very good at stealth, yet you sensed my presence. Thanks, I guess, Naruto said. If this man wanted to harm him, he had plenty of opportunities, and he had helped Naruto with his dreams, so Naruto decided to trust him, for now. You're welcome. Now on to business. I have been watching you and must say that you are improving quickly, he said. Why have you been following me? Naruto asked a bit suspiciously. Your skills are all improving except your taijutsu and your genjutsu, the man said, ignoring the question. Do you enjoy not answering my questions? Naruto said, growing irritated. You can't do much about your genjutsu as your chakra reserves are large, but you can do something about your taijutsu, the man replied, once again ignoring Naruto's question. And what is that? As you must already know, I have tried all of the styles and none of them suit me, Naruto said. Yours is not the path that has already been traveled, the mysterious figure said cryptically. Naruto looked at him for a while, seemingly in concentration. After a while, Naruto looked at him with a serious expression on his face. What does that mean? He asked, scratching his head in confusion. The man sighed. It means that what has worked for others will not work for you. You need to create your own path. That is something special about you, Naruto. While watching you train, I saw it. You take a problem and look at it from a completely different perspective than others. Thus, this should apply to taijutsu. You need to find the style that others have passed up as impossible or illogical. He threw a scroll at Naruto. Naruto opened it and read for a while. What is this? This looks like a taijutsu style, he said after inspecting it. It is, the man said simply. It seems to be a combination of a bunch of styles. But there doesn't seem to be any pattern to it. It looks like someone just wrote bits and pieces of other styles in no specific order, Naruto said while turning the scroll in many different directions, trying to find a pattern. The man laughed. Yes, I'm sure that is what it looks like. This style incorporates the best of other styles into one style. It's called the dragon style. But I already saw the scroll that had the dragon style, Naruto said, confused. The man snorted. Please, that is just a watered-down version of the true style. Very few people have ever mastered this style. What makes you think that I can? Naruto asked. As I said, few have mastered this style. The reason being that most who have attempted this style didn't have what it took. You do. Look at it again and concentrate, the man said. Naruto looked at the scroll for a while, trying to figure out a pattern to the different characters, but nothing became clear. No, Naruto, the man said, don't think of it as a puzzle, just look at it. Naruto became frustrated. No matter how many times he tried to solve whatever pattern this scroll had, he came up with nothing. Then he simply did what the man said. He stopped trying to look for a pattern and simply concentrated on the scroll. Suddenly it seemed as if the characters were moving by themselves. It suddenly became clear to him. He looked at the man. The reason that few have ever been able to use this style is that they look for a pattern. What they never realized is that there is no pattern. There is no one specific way to do this style because this style varies with the user. The styles are there for you to use, but you must choose how you use them. That is what makes this style near impossible to defeat if ever mastered. Your enemies will never be able to predict your movement as they seem to be completely random and unorganized. The only person who could possibly defeat you is a taijutsu specialist, as even they will have a hard time defeating you, the man said. Naruto's eyes widened. Don't get cocky, Naruto. The man warned. It will take a long time for you to completely master this style. Yeah, well, just like being Hokage, if it was easy anyone could do it, Naruto said. Well then, good luck and I hope you pass the genin exam this time, the man said as he turned to leave. Wait, Naruto said. The man stopped and looked at him. Why are you doing this? First you give me great advice about being the Hokage, and then you help me with my taijutsu. Why are you doing all of this for me? You don't even know me, Naruto said, truly confused. He couldn't think of a way a complete stranger would do all of this for him. Why am I doing all of this? Well, maybe it's because I see some of me in you. Maybe it's because I understand what you are going through. But the real reason I'm helping you, he said. Yeah? Naruto said. That is a secret, the man said as he walked out the door. Wait, Naruto said as he ran out the door, only to realize that the man had disappeared. Who is that guy? Naruto said. He then saw a scroll at his feet. He opened it to see one line written on the scroll. That is also a secret. Naruto looked around but saw no one. He went back into his house and got the electricity running again. He looked at the dragon scroll. It had some very complex styles that would take him a long time to learn. Oh well, might as well get started in the morning, Naruto thought as he took a shower and went to bed. The academy would start in another 6 months, and he was going to learn as much about this style as he could. Unknown to Naruto, the man was watching him through his window. I can only do so much, Naruto, the rest is up to you. The future will be long and hard and you will need to be strong to face what is coming. The man thought as he turned and disappeared. Naruto walked toward the academy slightly apprehensive. I wonder what this year will be like, he thought. He knew that he was going to cause a commotion, if for no other reason than the clothes he was wearing. He had abandoned the orange jumpsuit that he used to wear. According to Enko, if he wanted to stick out like a bullseye in the field, then wearing bright orange was definitely the way to gain attention. His clothing now consisted of black pants with dark orange strips along the sides, black ninja sandals, a long-sleeved black shirt with an orange spiral on the chest, and a black trench coat that went to his knees given to him by his Naisan. He now looked like a serious ninja, and he had a year to prove himself and gain the headband of a leaf shinobi. As he walked toward the academy, he was met with a mixture of looks. There were still the ever-present hateful and distrustful looks from a majority, but a few were looking at him with confusion. They couldn't figure out why he was wearing new clothes and his new attitude. Naruto noticed the new looks, but paid them no mind. He was still thinking about the academy. When Naruto finally reached the doors of the academy, he stopped for a moment. Okay, the old Naruto is gone. Now it's time to finally take my role as a ninja seriously. Hell, I can't wait until they get a look at me now. Naruto thought with a smirk. He opened the doors and headed toward his future. Iruka looked at the student before him. He could tell that this year's crop of students would be the best the village had seen in a long time. There was one child from each of the predominant clans in the village. Iruka looked at the potential ninja and saw a bright future for the village, but he noticed one student missing. Where is Naruto? Iruka thought, hoping that the child hadn't quit. Iruka saw a lot of himself in the child. They were both orphans who strived to have acceptance. At first he hated Naruto because of the Kyuubi, but that soon changed when he got to know the child. Iruka sighed. He knew that Naruto had a lot of potential. He just didn't have anyone who could bring it out. Alright, quiet down. It's time for roll call, Iruka said. Kiba Inuzuka. Here a boy with a dog on his head said. Shino Aburame. Present, said a boy with sunglasses and a trench coat that covered everything but his upper face and head. Sasuke Uchiha. Here, said a boy dressed in a blue shirt with the Uchiha crest on the back and white shorts. Sakura Haruno. Here, said a girl with bright pink hair who was currently staring at the Uchiha with love in her eyes. Ino Yamanaka. Here, said a girl with blonde hair and a ponytail, and a purple outfit, who was also staring at the Uchiha with love in her eyes. Fangirls, Iruka thought with a sigh. Choji Akimichi. Here, said a large boy with brown hair and a bag of chips in his hand, which he was currently eating. Shikamaru Nara. Troublesome, said a boy with black hair that was in a high ponytail and a bored expression on his face. Hinata Hyuga. Here, said a girl with blue hair, lavender eyes with no pupils, and who was wearing a beige coat that covered everything to her waist as well as blue pants. Naruto Uzumaki, Iruka called. There was no answer, and the children started to comment. The dope must have dropped out, Sasuke said. Yeah, that's right, he couldn't do anything right anyway, said Ino. This is great, with Naruto gone now I won't have anyone bugging me and Sasuke will be all mine, Sakura thought. Every one of the students were thinking along the same lines as Sasuke and Ino except one. Naruto-kun, where are you? I know that you would never give up, Hinata thought. She had had a crush on the young boy since they entered the academy. His will to never give up as well as his cheerful personality gave the girl confidence in herself. Suddenly the doors of the classroom opened, and in walked Naruto. Sorry I'm late, Iruka-sensei, Naruto said. That's okay, Naruto, just don't let it happen again, Iruka said sternly, even though he was relieved that the child had shown up. As Iruka continued calling names, Naruto looked for an open seat. He saw one by Sakura and one by Hinata. While in the past he wouldn't have thought twice before sitting next to his crush Sakura, but he had changed from the child he once was. He realized that he only talked to Sakura because she would always pay attention to him. Granted, she would hit him every time and call him names, but that didn't matter to him. In his mind, she was one of the most popular students, and she acknowledged him somewhat. That made her the ideal person for him to try and date. However, things had changed. He no longer strived for the attention of those that didn't like him, and Sakura had made it abundantly clear that she didn't like him. So with that in mind, he walked past the seat beside Sakura and headed toward Hinata. Oh no, Naruto-kun is headed toward me. Is he really going to sit beside me? What am I going to do? Thought the extremely shy girl. She may have liked Naruto for years, but she could never say anything to him. She was so shy that even being around him could cause her to faint, and when she did talk, it was normally in a stutter. Naruto sat down beside Hinata. Hinata had never been mean to him. When he thought about it, she was probably one of the only people at the academy who didn't call him a failure or look down on him. He really didn't know that much about her except that she was a part of the Hyuga clan and possessed the Byakugan. He had studied up on all of the clans during the break. Hey Hinata, you don't mind if I sit here, do you? Naruto asked kindly. He still didn't know what Hinata thought of him, and was hoping that they could become friends. Hinata, for her part, couldn't even look at Naruto before a blush came to her face and she began to twiddle her index fingers. SS sure, and in Naruto-kun, she said quietly. A huge smile of relief came to Naruto's face. Thanks a lot, Hinata, he said. Hinata's blush intensified and she broke eye contact with Naruto and stared at her desk. While this was going on, everyone in the class stared at Naruto dumbfounded. Not only had he gotten rid of that horrid jumpsuit, but he completely ignored the seat beside Sakura, and sat beside Hinata. Even Iruka was stunned. Naruto had just passed up a chance to sit beside the girl that everyone knew he had a crush on, only to sit beside the girl that had a crush on him. Well, that's pretty ironic. What's gotten into you, Naruto? Iruka thought. Naruto finally noticed the looks he was receiving, and was confused at it. Why are all of you staring at me? He asked. What's up with you, Naruto? Why are you wearing those cloths? Kiba asked. Yeah, stop trying to look cool like Sasuke-kun, Sakura said. Everyone expected Naruto to act hurt at Sakura's words and try to get a date. Naruto once again surprised them by not responding. Alright, that's enough, Iruka said. He hated how the kids always seemed to pick on Naruto, but he was surprised at how Naruto was controlling himself. Let's go outside, we are going to start with testing how you have improved over the break. After everyone had arrived at the training field, Iruka broke them up between boys and girls. He had them line up and stand in front of the targets. Okay, you will be given 5 kunai and 5 shuriken. I want you to throw them at the targets, Iruka said. The boys went first. Shikamaru simply threw them, not caring where they hit, and went to take a nap under a tree. Choji hit the target with 3 of his kunai and 2 of his shuriken. Shino was able to hit the bullseye with 1 kunai, the others landed close, and hit the target with all of his shuriken. Kiba did the same as Choji, which was expected as either of their respective clan techniques relied heavily on throwing projectiles. Sasuke stepped up, much to the joy of every female except Hinata, and took his position. He threw all of the kunai and shuriken at the same time and hit the bullseye with all 5 of the kunai and 4 of the shuriken. Sasuke-kun is so amazing, every girl thought, once again with the exception of Hinata. Good job, Sasuke, a near-perfect score. Naruto, it's your turn now, Iruka said. Naruto stepped into position. Try to actually hit something this time, dope, Sasuke said as he passed Naruto. Everyone expected Naruto to explode and fire back a retort, but Naruto stayed focused and didn't respond. Naruto picked up all of the kunai, threw them all at once. Then he did the same with the shuriken. Everyone had to pick their jaws off of the ground when they saw that every one of the projectiles had landed in the bull's eye. How was that, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked with a self-satisfied look on his face. That was amazing, Naruto. You just got a perfect score, Iruka exclaimed with pride. He didn't know how Naruto had improved so quickly, but he was happy that he was progressing. Don't look so smug, Naruto. You were just lucky, you're still not as good as Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled. Many of the other students agreed, but a few were looking at Naruto in a new light. Naruto ignored them and started walking back to the end of the line with a smile on his face. Naruto saw Hinata looking at him with a small smile of approval. This brought an even larger smile to Naruto's face, which in turn brought a large blush to Hinata's face. I wonder why she does that, Naruto thought. The girls went next. Sakura was able to hit the target with 3 of her kunai and 2 of her shuriken. How did I do, Sasuke-kun? She asked. Sasuke, for his part, simply ignored her. When it was Hinata's turn, she looked at the bull's eye and saw that Naruto was looking at her. Oh no, Naruto-kun is looking at me. What if I mess up? What if he thinks that I'm a failure? She thought as her hands started to shake. Naruto noticed that Hinata was shaking slightly. He walked up to her and grabbed her hand to stop it from shaking. "Do your best, Hinata," he said with a small smile. Hinata barely heard his words as she was frozen from the fact that her crush was holding her hand, and was desperately trying not to faint. "Naruto-kun is holding my hand," she thought with a blush that threatened to spread over her whole body. Must not faint, she told herself. Naruto noticed that Hinata had failed to respond. He saw that she had a dazed look on her face. "Hinata, you okay?" he asked. Hinata snapped out of her stupor and looked at Naruto. Why yes," she stuttered. "Hinata, you're up," Iruka called. Hinata quickly ran to her spot, leaving a confused Naruto behind. "Man, she's weird," Naruto said. Hinata looked at the target and became nervous again until she looked at Naruto and saw a smile of encouragement on his face. Suddenly feeling more confident, she threw her kunai and shuriken. 3 of her kunai hit the target, with 1 hitting the bull's eye. 4 of her shuriken hit the target, though none hit the bull's eye. "Good job, Hinata. You have the highest score of the girls and Naruto has the highest score of the boys. Alright, let's go to the obstacle course," Iruka said. While everyone followed Iruka, Naruto walked toward Hinata. "Naruto-kun is coming this way. What if he thinks that I didn't do well?" Hinata thought, suddenly afraid of his reaction. "That was great, Hinata," Naruto said with a smile. Hinata blushed and started to twiddle her fingers. "TT, thank you, NN Naruto-kun. I think that you did great as well," she said. Naruto was stunned for a second. Other than a few people, no one usually complimented him. Hinata was the first person in his age group who had actually given him a compliment, and it made him happy. "Thanks, Hinata. Come on, we have to get to the obstacle course," Naruto said with a small but genuine smile on his face. He then grabbed her hand. The close contact, however, caused Hinata to faint. "What happened to her?" Naruto said. He picked her up and began to run to Iruka. At the obstacle course, Iruka looked at his students and noticed that Hinata and Naruto were missing, until he saw Naruto running toward him with Hinata in his arms. "Iruka-sensei," Hinata suddenly collapsed. "Do you think I should take her to the nurse?" Naruto asked worriedly. Hinata seemed to be someone who would be his friend, and he didn't want anything to happen to her. Iruka could only smile. Only Naruto would be oblivious to Hinata's crush toward him. "She'll be fine, Naruto. Just give her some room," Iruka said with a smile. Naruto placed her under a tree and went to stand in line. When Hinata woke up, she looked around to see everyone in line to take the obstacle course. She hurriedly got into line behind Naruto. "Hey Hinata, you feeling better?" Naruto asked, concerned. "He cares about how I feel. Oh Kami, if this is a dream, please don't wake me up," Hinata thought. "Why yes, Naruto-kun, I feel better," she said. "I'm glad," Naruto said as he went to take the obstacle course. "Naruto-kun, do your best," Hinata said with a blush. Naruto looked at her, and once again felt happy that someone in his class actually believed in him. "I will, Hinata," he said kindly. After the obstacle course, the students went outside to have lunch while the teachers evaluated their scores. Naruto looked around for a place to sit when he saw Hinata sitting all by herself. "Hinata has been the only person to be nice to me today. I wonder why," Naruto thought. He wasn't used to being accepted and acknowledged, especially from his peers, so he was interested in why Hinata was so nice toward him when everyone else treated him with indifference or scorn. "Hey Hinata, do you mind if I eat with you?" Naruto asked while walking toward her. Hinata snapped out of her thoughts. She was thinking about how Naruto had seemed to be so different today. He was quieter, more reserved, much better at throwing projectiles, and if what she had heard from Iruka-sensei whispered to another teacher, then Naruto had done very well on the obstacle course as well. Another thing that she had noticed was Naruto's smile. While Naruto used to smile at seemingly everything in the past, even if it was ridicule, that smile seemed fake to her somehow. She noticed how Naruto never had his eyes open when he gave that smile. She could see the sadness that he tried to hide behind that smile, and it made her sad that he had to hide his emotions. She was also upset at herself for not being able to comfort him when he was sad because of her own insecurities. The smile that Naruto had now, however, was not as large as his previous smiles, nor did they appear as frequently, but she could see that these smiles were more real. They didn't hide his pain. They expressed his joy and happiness. She much preferred the smiles that he used now. She looked up at Naruto. "I don't am my Naruto-kun," she said with a small smile as well as a blush. Naruto sat down and began to eat. He was glad that Hinata didn't seem to mind him at all. Everyone else still picked at him and called him names, but Hinata didn't. She didn't seem to judge him and actually encouraged him. He still didn't understand why she would blush so much around him, or why she always seemed to stutter, but so far she was the friendliest student in his class toward him. They sat in silence for a long time until Naruto decided to ask the question that had been bugging him from the beginning of the class. "Hey Hinata, not that I don't mind, but why are you different than the other students?" he asked. Hinata looked at him in fear. "Oh no, does he mean that he thinks that I'm weird or that I'm not as good as everyone else?" she thought. "I mean, you don't look at me with indifference or ridicule me. You actually congratulated me when everyone else tried to put me down. Why do you act so differently toward me?" Naruto asked with confusion. He couldn't understand why Hinata would be so nice to him. She didn't even know him, and yet she was the only one to look at him with kindness and approval. He couldn't care less about what the other students seemed to think about the new him. They went right back to ridiculing him, excluding him, and treating him like an idiot. They were just like the villagers in his opinion, but Hinata was different, and he wanted to understand why. Hinata was at a loss as to what to say. She certainly couldn't tell Naruto that she had a crush on him, and at the same time she didn't want to fail to respond. He might take her silence the wrong way. I can't tell him my feelings, but I also don't want to hurt his feelings by staying silent. What should I do? Hinata thought. Thankfully, she was saved from answering when the bell rang. Hinata let out a sigh of relief as she stood up. I think that we should get back to class and Naruto-kun, she said. Naruto could see that she was relieved for the distraction. He didn't want to pry. He would accept her friendliness and wouldn't pressure her. If she wanted to tell him her reasons, then that was her decision. It's okay, Hinata, you don't have to tell me. Just tell me, would you like to be my friend? Naruto asked quietly, afraid that she might not want to be friends with someone like him. Hinata was currently on cloud 9. Naruto, her crush Naruto, wanted her as a friend. She was so happy that she almost fainted, but she knew that he might take that as a rejection, and that knowledge kept her conscious. I would like that, Naruto-kun, she said with a small smile and blush on her face. A wide smile appeared on Naruto's face. He had made his first friend and the day wasn't even over yet. Great. We'll be the best of friends, Hinata. He said, come on, we don't want to late to class. Hi, Hinata said, also happy about the recent development. The rest of the day went smoothly for Naruto. His grade in the obstacle course was right behind Sasuke's. His massive improvement, coupled with his new attitude, caused many to question what was up with Naruto. He nearly caused an uproar when he started answering some of the questions in class correctly. When the day came to an end, Iruka decided to find out what caused such an improvement. He saw Naruto talking to Hinata. Hey Naruto, wait up, he said. Naruto looked up at Iruka. Okay, Iruka-sensei. I'll see you tomorrow, Hinata, he said with a wide grin that caused the poor girl to blush from head to toe. Oh, okay, and Naruto-kun, she said as she left. To her, this was one of the best days she had had in a long time. After she had left, Iruka confronted Naruto. Naruto, what happened over the break? You stopped wearing such bright colors, you don't react to the student when they pick on you, your skills have improved drastically, and you actually participate during the lecture, Iruka said. Naruto looked at Iruka for a while before answering. The day I failed the genin exam for the second time, I met a man. He told me that I shouldn't care what those who don't care about me think or say. I only need to concern myself with those who actually care for me for who I am. That's why I don't respond to their taunts. As long as those who are precious to me believe in me and are proud of me, then that's all I need. You were always like a big brother to me, Iruka-sensei, so I hold your opinion of me in high esteem. I know you don't think that I'm a loser or a dropout, and that's enough for me. The man also told me that I didn't know what it meant to be Hokage, and he was right. So I asked the old man what it really meant to be the Hokage. I now know that being Hokage isn't about the title or the respect that comes with the job. It's about caring about the people of this village and being willing to protect them. That's why I'm going to become Hokage, so that I can defend and protect all those that are precious to me, Naruto said with an intense expression on his face. As for my skills, well, you can thank me, Nei-san, for that, Naruto said. Iruka was very impressed. Naruto was changing for the better right before his eyes. He asked many questions, such as whom the man was, what else he had learned over the break, and who his Nei-san was. He was very surprised with the answers. Naruto didn't know the identity of the man, His chakra control had improved drastically, he had learned the Henjin replacement jutsu. His taijutsu was something that he wanted to keep secret, and while Naruto couldn't cast a genjutsu, he could dispel one with a chakra pulse. Iruka's eyes nearly left his head when he found out that Anko was the woman that Naruto thought of as a sister. My Naruto, you have improved a great deal. You may even be able to make Rookie of the Year if you keep it up. So to celebrate your first day, how about we go get some ramen? He said. Naruto's face lit up. That would be great, Iruka-sensei, he said as he walked to the front door. One thing though, Naruto, Iruka said, stopping him. What's up between you and Hinata? Iruka said with a small smile on his face. Huh. Oh well, Hinata agreed to be my friend. She is the only one who has been nice to me. She doesn't make fun of me, she congratulates me when I do something well, and she just seems like a nice person, Naruto said, not really comprehending what Iruka-sensei was trying to infer. Iruka had the same smile on his face. Saying nothing, he walked past Naruto toward the ramen stand. Maybe you'll understand her feelings toward you one day, Naruto, he thought. And so things went in the academy for 6 months. Naruto continued to score high in the class for projectiles, ninjutsu, and taijutsu, though he refrained from using the dragon style as he wanted to save that for the graduation exam. So when it came time for taijutsu, he simply used one of the many styles that made up the dragon style, and while it was nowhere near perfect, he was proficient enough to be in the upper part of the class when it came to taijutsu. His progression had gained the attention of many of the students and teachers. Many teachers were wondering how he had progressed so quickly and were evaluating their treatment of him, especially when Iruka was around. He never condoned what they did to Naruto, and would defend him against anyone who tried to speak ill of him. Naruto and Iruka's relationship progressed to the point that they went for ramen almost every night. Naruto had begun to call him Iruka and Ai-san. Interestingly enough, Anko would pick Naruto up a Friday so that they could begin training, and Naruto was sure that he had never seen Iruka blush as bright as he did when he saw Anko, nor had he ever seen Anko express such an interest in a man. Many times he found himself being asked by one about the other. Naruto and Hinata friendship had progressed as well, albeit slowly. They became more comfortable around each other, which caused Hinata to lose her stutter. She did, however, still blush around Naruto, but she rarely fainted unless he were to hug her in excitement, or do something else along the same lines. Naruto had also become good friends with Shino. One day when Naruto and Hinata were eating, he saw Shino all by himself, and so Naruto headed over and asked if he wanted to join them. Shino was at first skeptical. He was never very social, and people tended to leave his clan alone because of their relationship to bugs. When Shino expressed this and showed Naruto the insects inside his body, Naruto simply stated that it made Shino different, and different wasn't bad. Shino had never had someone express an interest in his companionship, nor had he ever met someone who didn't think that his bugs were gross. He decided to eat with them, and they all became fast friends. Everything wasn't easy for Naruto, however. Aside from Shino and Hinata, everyone else seemed to treat him the same, if not worse, than before. Sakura and Ino continually tried to put him down, and claimed that he was trying to be cool like their Sasuke, and Sasuke himself saw Naruto as someone to test his strength against. However, Naruto refused to fight Sasuke as he said that he had nothing to prove to the Uchiha. This did not sit well with Sasuke, and the two had been on bad terms ever since. Sasuke would continually try to badger Naruto into a spar or a competition, and Naruto would continually ignore Sasuke taunts. The other teachers began to change their view of Naruto and began to treat him fairly, except for a select few. One of these was Mizuki. He pretended to be nice to Naruto when they first met, but Naruto saw through his farce. After this event, Mizuki tried his hardest to fail Naruto, discreetly of course. Whether it was by trying to give him harder exams than the other or by failing to acknowledge Naruto's answers during class and penalize him for missed answers. This stopped, however, when Iruka found out and brought the matter to the Hokage. Mizuki was fired from the academy and demoted to genin. This was considered merciful considering what Anko wanted to do to the man who tried to fail her Otuto and little brother. We now find Naruto walking toward the academy. He was in a good mood as the academy was half over and he was already in the top 10% of the class. He could have been higher, but his genjutsu skills and his refine from using the dragon taijutsu style kept him where he was. As he entered the room, he found that Hinata was not in their usual spot. He looked around and didn't see her anywhere. He sat down beside Shino wondering where Hinata could be. Hey Shino, have you seen Hinata today? Naruto asked. No, was all Shino said. Naruto and Hinata had learned that Shino was a man of few words and his responses were always short and to the point. Naruto sighed and was beginning to worry as Hinata had never missed a day of school, even when she was sick. She said that she preferred to be at the academy than home. Naruto didn't understand that but didn't pry into her personal affairs. Naruto was brought out of his wonderings when he saw the door open and Hinata come in with her head down. This confused Naruto as Hinata's confidence had increased greatly after becoming friends with him and Shino. Hinata sat down beside Naruto without saying a word. She didn't even make eye contact with him or Shino. The boys looked at each other in confusion as to her strange behavior. "Hinata, are you okay?" Naruto asked. All he received in the way of an answer was a stifled sob. "Hinata, what is it?" Naruto asked. She still didn't reply. "Hinata, we are your friends, you can tell yous what's wrong," Shino said with a kind voice unlike his normally stoic tone. Hinata said nothing, all she did was raise her head. The boys saw that she had white medical tape wrapped around her forehead, and her eyes were filled with despair. Naruto and Shino were stunned by the look of utter despair and loss that was in Hinata's eyes. They saw none of the joy or happiness that was usually present in her eyes. All they saw was pain, despair, and an utter lack of feeling. Her eyes almost appeared dead. They were at a complete loss of what to do, or what was wrong. Hinata failed to answer any questions that either of them asked. She simply kept her head down and refused to say anything. Naruto and Shino were equally confused and sad. What could have happened to their friend to cause such behavior? Neither Hinata's demeanor nor her attitude changed throughout the day. She didn't talk to either of the boys at lunch or during class. Her efforts in taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu were abysmal. It was as if she had no will to even try. Any questions that the boys asked were met with silence or a sob of grief. Naruto tried everything he could to cheer her up, but all of his efforts had failed. When the day came to an end, the boys knew as much then about her behavior as they did at the beginning of class, absolutely nothing. When it came time for the children to leave, the boys noticed that Hinata hadn't moved an inch. "Hinata, aren't you going to go home?" Naruto asked. Hinata said nothing, but she seemed to shrink even further into herself. "Hinata, let's go," a voice called out. The boys turned to see a beautiful woman with long black hair and ruby red eyes. She was dressed in what appeared to be white wrappings that went down to just above her knees. Her top looked like a white vest over a fishnet shirt that had one sleeve cut off and the other sleeve was blood red and came down to her wrist. Neither of the boys had ever seen her before. "Who are you?" Naruto asked suspiciously. "My name is Kurina Yuhi, and I'm here to pick up Hinata," she said. Hinata walked up to her without raising her head and walked out with the woman who seemed to be trying to comfort her. "Shino, what the heck do you think is wrong with Hinata? I mean, she didn't say a word to us all day," Naruto asked, perplexed and saddened by his best friend's actions. "I don't know, Naruto. There is probably more to the situation than we understand. We can only be there for her, give her space, and hope that she either gets over what troubles her or asks us for help," Shino said. "Yeah, I guess," Naruto replied, not at all feeling good about the situation or the inability to do anything about it. Hinata's behavior did not improve for the rest of the week. It actually became worse. She began sitting away from Naruto and Shino and began to avoid them at lunch. Naruto and Shino were deeply worried about their friend but were still hoping that she would soon resolve her problem or ask them for help. Sadly, either of these two options happened. By the end of the week, Shino had had enough. "Naruto, I think that you should talk to Hinata," he said. "What do you mean? I have been talking to her the whole week," the blonde boy said. "Whatever is happening with Hinata does not seem to be getting better. I think that it's time for someone to break through the wall she is erecting around herself and help her," Shino said. "I thought that you said we should give her space," Naruto said. "That's because I was hoping that she would have changed by now, but that is not the case. Drastic measures must be taken," Shino said. "Why me though? Why do you think that she will respond to me?" Naruto asked. Shino was silent for a moment. He knew that Hinata liked Naruto, anyone with half a brain could see that. He had also decided to say nothing about it as he thought that it was her secret and her decision when she told him. Thus he didn't want to tell Naruto that she would most likely respond to him because he was her crush. "If the woman who picks her up can't get through to her, then it must be you. You have known her longer and are closer to her than I am," Shino said, trying to cover up the truth. "Fine, but what if she doesn't respond?" Naruto asked. "Then you must make her respond. Normally I wouldn't dare invade someone's privacy like this, but if something doesn't change then we could lose her as a friend," Shino said with a hint of worry in his voice. "No! Hinata is my best friend and I won't lose her," Naruto said. "Then I suggest that you hurry up because she is leaving," Shino said. Naruto saw that Hinata was leaving and hurried after her. Shino watched his friend run off. Help her, Naruto, you are the only one who can. Hinata! Wait up! Naruto yelled as he ran after his first friend. Hinata did not stop. She actually began to run from Naruto. When Naruto saw this, he became angry. He was not about to let her get away and continue to do this to herself and her friends. Hinata ran faster and faster to try and avoid Naruto. She eventually found herself at one of the numerous training grounds. Naruto came up behind her and grabbed her. Please let me go, Naruto, she said softly without lifting her head or turning toward him. Naruto noticed the lack of kun at the end of his name and was surprised to find that it hurt him slightly. Not until we talk, Hinata, he said firmly, not releasing his hold even slightly. We have nothing to talk about, Naruto, Hinata said in the same tone as before. Like heck we don't. You have been acting weird all week. You don't talk to me or Shino, you don't even try during training, and worse, you have even started avoiding us. Tell me why, Naruto yelled. Hinata flinched at his tone but otherwise didn't respond. Naruto was becoming angry. He turned Hinata toward him and lifted her head. Tell me, he said firmly with a bit of a tremor. Hinata looked into the eyes of the boy she had a crush on and saw the pain that he was feeling because of her actions. Okay, she said quietly, dropping her head once again. Naruto released her slowly, in case she tried to run. Hinata continued to look toward the ground while she spoke. Naruto, you and Shino are the best friends that I have ever had. You both are smart, caring, and strong. I know that one day you both will obtain your dreams. You will become the Hokage and Shino will become a great clan leader, Hinata said. Naruto looked at her in awe. She believed in him. She truly believed that he would become Hokage. He had never heard Hinata express her feelings so openly before. His mood changed as Hinata continued, however. That's why I have begun to avoid you, Naruto. I don't want to hold you back from your dream, Hinata said with a tremor in her voice. Naruto was confused by her words. What do you mean, Hinata? You never hold me or Shino back. You are our friend, he said, desperately wanting to understand. I will eventually, Naruto. I am a failure. I fail at everything that I try and I can never do anything right. If I continue to be around you, I will only become a burden, and I don't want to burden you, Hinata said in an incredibly sad voice, with tears in her eyes. Naruto could only look at her. What could be causing her to say these things? Who told her this crap? He thought. That's not true, Hinata. You have never nor will you ever be a burden, Naruto said. But I am a burden, Naruto. You should leave me alone and focus on your dream. I will only slow you down, she said in a defeated voice. Naruto was becoming enraged. Who put this crap in your head, Hinata? Why do you think that you are a failure and a burden when you clearly aren't? He yelled. Hinata didn't flinch. She didn't do anything except ask one question. Naruto, what do you know about the Hyuga clan? She said very quietly. Naruto wondered at the strange change in topic but answered her question. The Hyuga clan is one of the most powerful clans in Konoha. They possess the Byakugan, which is a very powerful dojutsu said to be on par with the Sharingan. Your clan is said to possess the all-seeing eye and are able to see through any illusions, Naruto said. You are right except for two things, Naruto, she said. One is that there is a division in the clan. There are those of the main house who are in control and those who are in the branch family. The branch family members are under the main house members and must obey their commands. The branch family is branded with a seal that keeps them in submission. It is called the caged bird seal. It is placed on all those of the branch family so that when they die the Byakugan is sealed, and so that if they get out of hand the main house can use the seal to cause them extreme pain and possibly death, she said. Naruto once again was confused. He didn't see the point of the seal. It seemed to be only an excuse for those of the main house to be a bunch of bullies. Even the explanation of protecting the Byakugan was faulty. If the clan was worried about the Byakugan falling into the wrong hands, then they would put the seal on every child. I still don't see what this has to do with you, Hinata. I already know that you are the heiress of the Hyuga clan, he said, not sure where she was going with this. That is the second thing that you are wrong about, Naruto, she said as she finally looked at him and took off the medical tape. I am no longer the heiress, nor am I a Hyuga any longer, she said as she presented the caged bird seal on her head to her oldest friend. Naruto was shocked beyond words. Hinata has the caged bird seal on her head? She is no longer a Hyuga? What the heck is going on? he thought. What do you mean, Hinata? He said, fearing the answer he was sure was coming. I have been banished from the clan Naruto, she said with a pain and grief-filled voice. My father put the seal on me and kicked me out. He said that I wasn't even worthy of being in the branch family because I was so weak. Kurenai-sama adopted me and took me in. Hinata Hyuga is dead. I am Hinata Yuhi now, she said with the tears streaming down her eyes. That's why you must forget about me, Naruto. I am nothing but a failure. The whole clan thought so. No one gave me a compassionate look, no one tried to console me. They all looked at me as if I was nothing. As if all they saw was a burden that needed to be disposed of. So please, Naruto, don't let me burden you, please just leave, she said, and she broke down and began crying. Naruto was frozen where he was. She was treated by her family the same way the villagers treat me, he thought. He saw the same look of desperation, grief and pain in her that had plagued him for years. Naruto instantly went from sad to anger. How dare they do that to Hinata? They kick her out, destroy whatever little faith she had in herself, and put the caged bird seal on her head. Naruto was livid. He desperately wanted to break some heads, but he was able to bring himself under control when he realized that his anger wasn't going to help Hinata. Though he promised himself that one day he would find the ones responsible and Kami have mercy on them. Hinata continued to weep as she felt two warm arms pull her into an equally warm chest. She realized that Naruto hadn't left as she expected him to do. He had stayed and was now comforting her. This would have normally caused Hinata to faint, but instead she wrapped her arms around his body and cried out all of the grief, pain, sorrow, and loss that she felt. Naruto simply stood there comforting her. He didn't say anything as nothing needed to be said. She just needed someone to hold her and let her let it out. He knew what she was feeling and knew that all she needed was the comfort of someone who cared. When Hinata's cries had slowed down to silent weeping, Naruto pulled back and lifted her face to his again. They're wrong, he said simply. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? She asked. They are wrong. You aren't a failure. They are all idiots if they believe that, he said, smiling slightly at her usage of kun. Hinata was shocked. How could anyone say that? The Hyuga clan was one of, if not the most prestigious clan in Konoha. How could they all be wrong when they possessed the eyes said to be able to see everything? How could they all be wrong, Naruto-kun? They have the Byakugan, she said in confusion. So what? If they can't see what a great person and ninja you are, then they are not only wrong but blind, he said with a smile. They can't all be wrong, Naruto-kun. I must really be a failure, she said, once again dropping her head. Naruto could see that he was getting through to her, but she was going to need a little more convincing. Hinata, follow me, he said as he grabbed her hand. Naruto took her to the Hokage mountain and they stood on the fourth's head. This is where I come to think, and just away from it all, Hinata, he said. Why did you bring me here, Naruto-kun? She asked. Naruto looked out at the village, once again allowing himself to remember how many people despised him. I know exactly how you feel, Hinata, he said at last. Almost everyone in this village, except for a select few, hate me, he said as Hinata gasped at his comment. They all look at me with scorn and hate. To them I am nothing but a stain that needs to be erased. Parents tell children not to play with me. I am called monster, and sometimes demon. I am picked on, ridiculed, and have always been told that I will never amount to anything, he said with an emotionless voice. Hinata was in tears as she heard how Naruto was treated by their own village. Why? Why do they hate you, Naruto-kun? She asked as he turned to her. I don't know why, Hinata. But that isn't the point. Do you think that they're right? He asked her seriously. Hinata was shocked that he would ask such a question. No! You aren't a demon or a monster! She yelled. But the majority of them think so, he stated. Then they are idiots. They don't truly know you and don't know what they are talking about. You aren't a monster, she said. Naruto smiled at her. And you aren't a failure, he said softly. You are Hinata Yuhi, you are my best friend, you are the best female ninja in the class, and you aren't a failure, he said strongly. Hinata was brought to tears over his declaration, but these were no longer tears of sadness but of joy. She was once again wrapped in a hug by Naruto, and this time gladly returned the affection. He doesn't think that I'm a failure, she thought with glee. Naruto looked over at the village as he continued to speak to her. You know, a wise man gave me some advice in this exact spot, he said as she looked up at him. He told me not to worry about what the villagers think of me and that I shouldn't strive for their acknowledgement. He told me that the only people whose opinions should matter to me are those that truly care and know me. Hinata, can you think of one time that your clan had encouraged you, or showed they cared? He asked. Hinata thought back, but all she saw was the ridicule they gave her. She was never praised after her mother died. She was put down and her confidence and spirit almost crushed. No, she said to Naruto. Then I want you to think about all those that care for you, he said. Hinata's thoughts went to Irika, Shino, Kurenai, and most of all Naruto. None of them had ever thought of her as a failure. Naruto and Shino had befriended her. Irika-sensei always encouraged her. Kurenai had adopted her and opened her home to the young girl. She now saw that they were the ones that truly mattered to her. She didn't need to worry about what her clan thought, as they never wanted to give her a chance. A smile appeared on her face as she pulled back from Naruto. You are right, Naruto-kun. My family never cared for me except my mother, who died. My father was always cold, and my sister took after him. I was never given a chance. They made their minds up about me and refused to change them, she said. And that's why you shouldn't concern yourself about them anymore. They gave you up so they have no say over you, he said. I'm sorry for the way I have been acting, Naruto-kun, she said. No, I am the one who is sorry, Hinata. My goal for being the Hokage is so that I can protect everyone that is precious to me. I swear to you that I will find a way to get rid of that seal, Hinata-chan, he said. Hinata could believe it. She thought that Naruto would have left her or called her a failure, but neither of those things happened. He believed in her and said that he would protect and free her from the seal. Naruto released her and looked out over the village. Hey, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I will become Hokage to protect and defend all those precious to me, he yelled at the top of his voice. Hinata smiled at Naruto's actions and stood beside him. My name is Hinata Yuhi, and I will become a great kunoichi one day, she yelled. Naruto turned to her with a smile. You already are a great kunoichi, Hinata, he thought. They both looked over the village as the sun began to set, and Naruto took Hinata's hand as they watched the village bathed in the last rays of the sun. Kurenai Yuhi was one of the best female ninjas in the village. She was recently made a jonin and was quite proud of her accomplishment. She had known Hinata since the girl was young, and she had escorted her to the academy. She hated Heishi Hyuga and the entire clan with a passion for what they'd done to the girl. Not only did they treat her like scum for the first 12 years of her life, but they had the audacity to brand her with the caged bird seal and kick her out into the street because they thought that she was weak. Kurenai had adopted the girl to give her a place to stay as well as to comfort her. However, Hinata was like a statue to her. She didn't say much of anything and continued to call her Kurenai-sama despite being told repeatedly to call her Kurenai-ne-san. Kurenai had been told about Hinata's decline in the academy but couldn't get through to the girl. She feared that the Hyugas had finally broken her spirit. Right now Kurenai was waiting for Hinata to get home. She had had a mission and couldn't pick her up from school. It was getting late, and she was beginning to worry when the front door opened. She saw Hinata walk in and immediately saw a difference. Hinata was holding her head high, and there was a smile on her face. Hinata, where have you been? Kurenai asked. Gomen Kurenai-ne-san, but I was with Naruto-kun, she said with a smile. Kurenai was shocked. Hinata was speaking again, called her Ne-san, and admitted to being with Naruto. Oh really? Well, what happened between you two? Kurenai asked with a slight smirk. It wasn't like that, Ne-san. Hinata stuttered as she began to blush. Kurenai just laughed. It seems that whatever happened between them had solved Hinata's problem and brought her from the brink of despair. I'm just kidding, Hinata. Well, why don't you go get washed up and rest? I'll start dinner, she said. Ne-san, do you think that you could teach me to cook? Hinata asked shyly. Some things never change, Kurenai thought. Of course you can help, Hinata. Are you planning to cook for someone special? She said with a smirk. Ne-san, Hinata yelled as her blush intensified. Kurenai just laughed. The next week came and Hinata was back to her old self, with a few changes. She would still blush around Naruto, but her fainting had all but ceased. She now wore an indigo blue bandana over the seal on her forehead that Naruto had given her. She had also shed the large, bulky beige coat she used to wear and began wearing a smaller indigo coat that was easier to move in and matched her headband, as well as black pants that ended just under her knees. Naruto had brought Shino up to speed on Hinata's behavior, and Shino had simply said that he thought no less of her and was still her friend. Naruto discovered that Kurenai and Anko were actually the best of friends, and all four of them began to train over the weekends. They discovered that Hinata was built for the serpent taijutsu style because of her lithe form and flexibility. Hinata was overjoyed. Not only was she around teachers who cared for her, but she was able to spend time with Naruto as well. Shino would actually join them when he could, and the three became closer, not only as friends but also as a team. This is the way that the academy progressed for the next 6 months until it was finally time for the graduation exam. The exam would cover ninjutsu, a written portion, and a taijutsu spar. The written test was given first, and Naruto, Hinata, and Shino all scored high. When it came time for the taijutsu spar, Shino was the first to go, and his opponent was Ino. Needless to say that it was a quick fight, as Ino didn't even want to touch the creepy bug guy. Hinata went up against Kiba, and to everyone's surprise except for her friends, was able to defeat the boy with a swift kick to the stomach that launched him from the ring. Shikamaru fought Sakura and promptly gave up, saying that fighting a girl was too troublesome. Choji fought some no-name student and defeated him. Then it came down to Naruto and Sasuke. "Hey, you can't run away now, doe," Saki said. This was what he had been waiting for, a chance to prove himself against a worthy opponent. Worthy, but still beneath me, Sasuke thought. Naruto didn't reply. He was sick and tired of Sasuke's mouth and felt the need to shut him up. Looks like it's time to show Sasuke what I can really do, he thought. As they got into position, Sasuke was the first to attack. He came from the left and tried to punch Naruto in the face. Naruto simply moved his head out of the way. Sasuke had been anticipating this and tried to sweep kick Naruto's feet out. Naruto once again simply dodged. Sasuke was becoming increasingly annoyed. Naruto dodged every attack he threw at him with little to no difficulty. "Fight back, dope," he said. Naruto simply stared at him. "Oh, is it my turn? I can't believe that that's all you got," he said as he charged Sasuke, looking to punch him. Sasuke put his guard up only for Naruto to change from one style of taijutsu to a completely different style in a second to kick him in the stomach. What the heck was that? I was sure that he was attacking with the crane style, and then he suddenly switched to the lotus. Sasuke wondered. He didn't have time to contemplate this as Naruto was on him once again. The fight became one-sided as Sasuke couldn't keep up with Naruto. Every time he tried to guess Naruto's next move, Naruto would change styles and catch him off guard. It was like fighting 3 or 4 different styles at once. Naruto ended the fight by changing from a serpent-style punch to an iron fist-style kick that caught Sasuke in the chest and launched him out of the ring. "The winner is Naruto," Iruka said with pride. Everyone was dumbfounded, including Hinata and Shino. Naruto had never used the dragon style in front of them before, and it was amazing. The way he switched between styles so easily was astonishing. "Naruto-kun, what was that?" Hinata asked. "Yes, I would like to know as well," Shino said. "Well, it's a style that I have been working on for the last year. It's called the True Dragon style, and was given to me," Naruto said, slightly embarrassed. "Why haven't you used it before, Naruto?" Iruka asked as Sasuke finally rose to his feet. Naruto shrugged. "I didn't want to use it against a comrade if I had a choice, and it is a long way from being finished. I can only incorporate 3 to 4 styles at once. The True Dragon style has dozens of different styles, some of which I've never seen before," Naruto said. "Well, whatever it was doesn't matter, as you have passed the taijutsu portion of the exam. Alright, everyone, let's go inside for the ninjutsu portion," Iruka said. As everyone began to re-enter the academy, Naruto was stopped by Sasuke. "What do you want?" Naruto asked, exasperated. "Give me the scroll for that style, I want to learn it," Sasuke demanded. "I will answer that in this order." No, and heck no," Naruto said as he walked past the fuming Uchiha. "Don't turn your back on me. You may be good at taijutsu, but I am still better than you," Sasuke said. "So what if you are?" Naruto asked, not bothering to turn around. "You are the one keeping score. I don't care if you're better than me or if I'm better than you. It means nothing to me," Naruto said. "You're the one who feels the need to compare our skills and the one who keeps challenging me because you want to know if you're the best. I personally couldn't care less. The world doesn't revolve around you, Sasuke. I don't know how long you have been waiting to fight me, and I don't care. I can guarantee you that fighting and beating you were not on my top list of things to do. Get over yourself," Naruto said as he continued to walk to class. "I will prove myself superior to you, Naruto. Just wait," Sasuke thought as he went to class as well. When everyone had re-entered the class, Iruka began the ninjutsu portion of the class. Okay, you all must perform a henge, substitution, and a bushin to pass, he said, looking at Naruto worriedly. Naruto, despite his vast improvement, couldn't make one decent clone. Shino and Hinata looked at Naruto in fear. Naruto-kun, can you even make a clone? She asked. Nope, Naruto said with a smile on his face. Then why are you so confident? Shino asked. That is a secret, Naruto said, enjoying the confused looks on his friends' faces. That must be why that man keeps saying it. It's kind of fun, Naruto said. Shino, Iruka called. Shino nodded to his friends and went to take the exam. He came back shortly with his ninja headband around his head. Good job, Shino, Naruto said as Hinata nodded. Make sure that you do the same, he said on return. They had known Shino long enough to know that meant thanks. Hinata went next and came back shortly with her ninja headband around her neck. Naruto wondered at the odd placement. Hey Hinata-chan, why are you wearing your headband around your neck? He asked. Hinata blushed. The reason was because she wanted to keep the indigo headband Naruto had given her around her forehead, but she couldn't say that of course. I just want to try something different, she said. Naruto brushed it off as a weird girl thing and waited for his turn to come. When it was Naruto's turn, he began his descent, but not before Hinata grabbed his hand. He turned to her and saw a blush spreading over her entire face. Do your best, Naruto-kun, she said meekly as Shino nodded his head in agreement. I will, Hinata-chan. Besides, I can't be the leader of our team unless I become a ninja, he said with a smile as he walked off. Hinata watched him go with a warm feeling in her chest. He wanted to pass so that they could be on a team together. He also wanted to pass so that he could eventually become Hokage, but it seemed that he cared about them as a whole before he cared about himself. This was another reason why Hinata liked our blonde hero. He is so selfless, she thought with a small smile. Naruto stood in front of Iruka and another teacher. Alright Naruto, I want you to use a henge, a substitution, and a clone to pass the ninjutsu portion, Iruka said. Naruto concentrated and henged into the fourth Hokage. Iruka and the teacher beside him were sure that the fourth was reborn when they saw the intense blue eyes that the former leader was known for. When Naruto released the henge, the teachers were shaking slightly. That was amazing, Naruto. I really thought that I was looking at the fourth, Iruka said. Naruto blushed slightly under the praise. Well, the fourth is my hero and I want to surpass him eventually, he said. Naruto then did a substitution with the teacher sitting beside him. Naruto took a deep breath and went through the signs for a clone. Suddenly 10 Narutos were standing beside him. Amazing, Naruto, I can't believe that you mastered the clone jutsu, Iruka exclaimed. I didn't, Naruto said, laughing at their confused expressions. I have always had too much chakra and not enough control to use the regular clone jutsu, so I used a shadow clone, he said. The teachers had to pick their jaws off of the floor. Here was a genin who could use shadow clones and use it without showing any sign of chakra exhaustion that was said to accompany the jutsu. Who taught that to you, Naruto? Iruka asked. My Nei-san, Naruto said simply. Anko wanted to make sure that her little brother passed the exam this time and taught him the jutsu. She knew that the reason that it was forbidden was that the user could die of chakra exhaustion if they created too many clones at once, but she also knew that this would never be an issue for Naruto as his chakra reservoir were huge and only growing larger. Well, you passed, Naruto, Iruka said with pride on his face as he handed Naruto his headband. A huge smile encompassed Naruto's face as he took the headband and placed it on his forehead. Thanks, Nii-san, he said as he went back to his friends. You're one step closer, Naruto, Iruka thought. I'm one step closer, Naruto thought as he sat down with his friends and thanked them when they congratulated him. As the day ended and the children were beginning to leave, Naruto, Shino, and Hinata were standing together outside of the classroom. Let's go and celebrate. Ramen for everyone, Naruto yelled. I'm sorry, Naruto, but I can't accompany you. I must go home and begin training with my insects with my father, Shino said as he began to walk off. Gomen, Naruto-kun, but Kurenai Nei-san wants me home as well for cooking lessons, she said with a blush, not wanting him to know why she was taking cooking lessons. Oh, okay, then I will see you guys later, Naruto said, a bit downtrodden. As Naruto began to walk to the ramen stand, he noticed that many of the villagers were looking at him differently. They seemed to be reevaluating their opinions of him, though a vast majority of them still looked at him with scorn. As Naruto entered the ramen stand, he was greeted by Im and Tochi. They were two of the first people to treat him kindly, and he was their best customer. "How did you do, Naruto?" Im said with an eager expression. "I passed with flying colors," Naruto said with a smile. "That's great, Naruto, so what will you have?" Tochi asked. "Whatever he orders is on me," said a voice, causing the group to look at the new figure. "What do you want, Mizuki?" Naruto said angrily. Mizuki held his hands up in defense. "Easy, Naruto, I'm not here to fight. I am sorry for what I did to you and wanted to make it up to you," he said sincerely. Naruto looked at him but could find nothing in his demeanor or his attitude to refute his claim. "Fine, I guess," Naruto said a bit suspiciously as he ordered his ramen. "Naruto, you like Hinata and Shino, right?" Mizuki asked. Naruto stopped eating and looked at him. "Yeah, they're my best friends, why?" he asked. "It just seems to me that you would want to be on their team, though that isn't likely to happen," Mizuki said. "What? Why?" Naruto asked. He didn't want to be separated from his friends. "Their techniques make them better for a tracking team, wouldn't you agree?" Mizuki said. Naruto thought about it. With Shino's bugs and Hinata's Byakugan, they did seem more based around a tracking team. "So you see, they will probably be put on the same team as someone else who has tracking and recovery abilities," Mizuki said. "And you aren't known for that." "What do I have to do?" Naruto asked. "You need to prove that you are a good tracker or good at stealth and recovery," Mizuki said. "How do I do that?" Naruto asked desperately. Mizuki smiled. Hook, line, and sinker. "Tell me, Naruto, what do you know about the Forbidden Scroll?" Mizuki said with the same smile. Naruto was currently sneaking into the Hokage's office to try and find the Forbidden Scroll. According to Mizuki, if he were able to retrieve the scroll and avoid detection or capture, then he would have proven that he was a competent tracker and retriever. Mizuki had told him where to find the scroll and told him where to meet up if he completed the mission. It took all of Naruto's infiltration skills to not get caught. All the while there was a nagging thought in the back of his head that told him that something was off. "I can't worry about that," he thought, suppressing the feeling. In his mind, the only thing that mattered was completing this mission and being on a team with Shino and Hinata. They were his oldest friends and never once did anything wrong to him. All three of them had worked and trained together for the last 6 months, and their teamwork was nearly perfect. All Naruto had to do was complete this mission, and he would be able to keep their group together. Naruto found the scroll exactly where Mizuki said it would be. While this would have seemed strange to Naruto on any other day, his mind was far too focused on completing what he thought to be an important mission for him to consider the situation. As he began to walk away, he heard footsteps coming toward the room. Thinking fast, Naruto placed the scroll on his back and quickly hid. The door opened and the Hokage walked in. Sarutobi had been in many battles in his life, and this had given him a sixth sense of when someone was near. He concentrated but couldn't pin down who was around. "Whoever is in here better come out now," the old leader said. He received an answer in the form of dozens of clones running out of the door and window. "Sorry about this, old man," one Naruto yelled. Sarutobi was confused. Why was Naruto sneaking around? Why had he run off like that? Shaking it off as inconsequential, the old leader sat down to read his Ika book when he noticed that the room containing the forbidden scroll was slightly open. He rushed in to see the scroll missing. "Naruto, what have you done?" the leader thought, and he signaled Umbu to gather all available Chunin and Jonin. Naruto was currently resting against a tree. He had gotten to the spot indicated by Mizuki with plenty of time to spare. His curiosity had gotten the better of him, and he opened the scroll to see what made it so special. "Naruto!" yelled a voice, causing the young genin to look up. "Irakanizan, Ankonizan, you two were sent to capture me?" he asked. "No, you idiot!" Enko yelled, "all available Chunin and Jonin are hunting your butt down, and we happened to find you." "Naruto, what are you doing with the forbidden scroll?" Irika said testily. Naruto wondered if he should tell them. He didn't want to try and run because he already knew that that was a foregone conclusion. He decided that he had to have preformed adequately, given so little time to prepare, so he told them what Mizuki had told him. Enko and Irika looked at each other, both having a bad feeling about the situation. That Mizuki knew where the forbidden scroll resided was troubling enough, but why would he go through the trouble of using Naruto? Before either of the two could voice these concerns, all three suddenly had to avoid dozens of kunai and shuriken thrown at them. Well, I must say that I am impressed, Naruto. You were able to recover the scroll in record time. Now give it to me, Mizuki said as he came out from behind a tree. Mizuki, what is the meaning of this? Iruka said. Iruka, you should have been able to guess by now. I had that brat steal the scroll from me. Now I'm going to take it, kill you, and give it to my master, Mizuki said with a smile on his face. Anko suddenly began to laugh. You think that you can kill us? You really are an idiot. This works for me just fine though. Now that you're a traitor, I can do whatever I want to you, she said with a sadistic smile. Mizuki for his part seemed unafraid of Anko. He simply made a hand sign and Anko suddenly fell to the ground, screaming in pain as she clutched her neck. Anko-chan. Nei-san. Did you really think that I would come unprepared, Anko? My master is Lord Orochimaru, and when I told him that you may become a problem, he taught me how to activate your cursed seal, Mizuki said, smiling at Anko's pain. Naruto had seen enough. He was confused about what was going on earlier, but now everything had become clear. Mizuki had used him to do his dirty work and steal the scroll. Everything he had said was a lie, and now he was working for the man that had caused his Nei-san so much heartache and pain. Anko had told Naruto about Orochimaru and their past a few months back. This had surprised Naruto as his Nei-san always avoided the topic of her past. She had sat him down and truly opened up to him. She told him how Orochimaru trained her, how he was like a father to her, how he used her and threw her away like trash, and about the cursed seal on her neck. Naruto could see the pain and betrayal in her eyes and became angry. He told her that he would one day remove the seal on her neck, and that if he ever met Orochimaru or anyone who worked for him that he would beat them himself for her. She had laughed at that and told him that he had a long way to go. Naruto rushed toward Mizuki, intent on beating the crap out of him, only for Mizuki to dodge and jump into a tree. You know something, Naruto, your Nei-san and Nii-san know why the villagers hate you, he said with a smirk. Shut up, Anko yelled through the pain of the seal. It's forbidden, Mizuki, Iruka yelled. You remember the lesson on the Kyuubi, right, Naruto? Mizuki said, ignoring the two ninja. Yeah, it was killed by the fourth. What of it? Naruto asked suspiciously. He wasn't about to let his guard down, just in case Mizuki was lying again. That's what all of you were told, but the truth is that the fourth sealed the beast inside a young baby. That baby was you. You are the nine-tailed fox, Mizuki said with a sick smile on his face. This stopped Naruto cold. He turned to the two people that were like siblings to him and saw fear come into their eyes. While he was prepared to disregard what Miyuki said as a lie, he saw in their faces that he was speaking the truth. Mizuki took advantage of Naruto's stunned position and threw a large shuriken at him. Naruto made no move to dodge as he was occupied with his own thoughts. The Kyuubi is sealed inside of me? That's why they all hate me. They see me as the demon that caused so much death and destruction years ago. Am I a demon? Naruto thought. All this time, Naruto thought that the villagers may not have had a good reason for hating him. He disregarded their hate as foolish when they had nothing to hate him for. However, all of that had been shattered when Mizuki had revealed the secret. He suddenly understood why his was hated, and it hurt him to know that he held within him the beast that had caused so much destruction and pain. He was so enraptured in his own thoughts that he completely ignored the shuriken as it neared him. He was suddenly pushed out of the way and looked up to see Iruka had taken the shuriken for him in the back. Don't listen to him, Naruto. You aren't the demon, Iruka said. You are my little brother who just happens to have the demon sealed inside of him. When I first met you, I hated you. I thought the same as the villagers, but then I got to know you and I knew that there was no way that someone like you, someone so much like me, could ever be a demon, Iruka said with tears in his eyes. This is truly pathetic, Mizuki said. Iruka pulled the shuriken out of his back and tossed it at Mizuki. Mizuki simply turned to the side, but this is exactly what Iruka wanted as he tackled Mizuki into the forest. Run, Naruto! Run and take the scroll with you, Iruka yelled. Mizuki kicked Iruka off of him and laughed as the Chunin failed to pull himself to his feet. Did I forget to mention that all of my weapons are covered in poison? You really shouldn't have taken that blow for that demon, Mizuki said with a laugh. He's not a demon. You and all those how think the same as you are the true demons, Mizuki, Iruka said as he fell to his knees. The poison was fast acting and he was losing the feeling in his legs and arms. Iraka-kun! Anko yelled through her own pain. She hated that she was so useless right now. The seal sapped all of her strength, and the pain was nearly unbearable. Mizuki walked toward Iraka and kicked him toward Anko. You can both die together since you seem to care about one another, Miyuki said as he threw kunai at both of them. The weapons were intercepted in the air by shuriken, and Mizuki turned only to be met with a fist to the face. Naruto stood in front of Anko and Iraka with a fierce expression on his face. You should know, Mizuki, that I will never abandon those precious to me. I will defend my Nei-san and my Nai-san from you, he said. Ha! And what, pray tell, are you going to do? I'm at Chunin level, he said. Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto yelled as the forest was flooded with clones. Mizuki only had enough time to gulp before the clones were upon him. After a few minutes of pounding, the Naruto clones looked at the broken body of Mizuki. As they smiled in victory, however, Mizuki's body disappeared and was replaced by a log covered in explosive tags. Crap! Yelled the clones as the tags went off and destroyed them all. The backlash of the explosion hit Naruto hard and he fell to his knees. He used a replacement jutsu. He thought as he looked around for the traitor. He suddenly was kicked in the back and sent flying into a tree. When he turned around, he was stunned to see that Mizuki had transformed. He now stood 8 feet tall and looked like a mix between a tiger and a man. His muscles were huge and he looked like he was out for blood. You didn't really think that it was going to be that easy, did you? Lord Orochimaru has made me very powerful, and there is no way that a puny little genin like you can defeat me, he said as he rushed toward Naruto on the offensive. Naruto didn't have time to respond as he was too busy dodging the quick but powerful punches of Mizuki. He had no time to counterattack and was being driven back. Anko and Iraka could only watch on as their little brother was forced to fight the monstrosity that was Mizuki. Naruto's back hit a tree and he dodged to the side as Mizuki punched and destroyed the tree. Naruto knew that he couldn't stay on the defensive and began to attack with the true dragon style. While he was able to get in a good number of hits, none of them were powerful enough to take Mizuki down. He jumped back and tried to regain his breath. Making all of those clones a moment ago, combined with the mental stress of them all being dispelled at once, was taking a toll on him. Mizuki just laughed. Is that the best you've got? At this rate you'll never defeat me. Oh, and just to let you know, Iraka only has a few minutes left at best before he's dead, and Anko can only handle so much pain herself. How will you save them both and deal with me? Mizuki said with an evil laugh. Naruto looked at his siblings and saw that they were both fading fast. The poison was killing Iraka fast and Anko was sweating and panting from the pain. I have to get them out of here. Naruto thought, well, time to put what I learned to go use. Piercing darkness jutsu, he yelled. Suddenly all light seemed to disappear from the area and Mizuki found himself surrounded by complete darkness. What kind of technique is this? He thought. Suddenly he was hit from behind. He swung in that direction but hit nothing. He was suddenly being hit from various angles, and while none of the hits were truly damaging to his new body, they were annoying. He used his new reflexes and grabbed the hand that hit him next. He punched with of his might into Naruto's stomach, dispelling the jutsu and launching the young hero into a tree, snapping it in half. As Naruto lay there trying to catch his breath, Mizuki walked over to him. Nice try, kid. I must say that I am impressed that you learned such a high-level jutsu from the scroll, but you lack the experience, or the training to use it effectively, it seems. None of your blows did a thing and I finally caught you, he said with a smile as he looked at the defeated look on Naruto's face. He looked over at Iraka and Anko and got an idea. Before I kill you, I think that I will kill those 2 siblings of yours, he said with an evil smile. No! Leave them alone! Naruto yelled as he tried to move, and failed. You're not in any position to be making demands, demon, he said as he walked toward Iraka and Anko. He picked Iraka up by the neck, ignoring Anko's curses and yelling. Any last words? He said with the same smile he had worn all night. Boom! Iraka said as he exploded. The explosion blew Mizuki back, and while he was stunned by what happened, Anko jumped up. Hidden shadow snakes! She yelled as snakes slithered out of the sleeves of her trench coat to wrap around Mizuki and pull him toward her. When Mizuki was face to face with her, she said one thing. Boom! She exploded as well, and Mizuki was once again thrown backward. He was able to stop himself by digging his claws into the ground, but he was hurt from the 2 explosions and panting. What the heck just happened? He thought as he heard a voice behind him. You shouldn't let your guard down, Naruto said as he grabbed Mizuki from behind. Let go, you brat, he said as he tried to throw Naruto off. Boom! Naruto said as he too exploded. This explosion was the largest thus far and created a crater in the ground. Naruto limped from behind a tree to see the results of his plan. He knew that he didn't have the control to completely use the piercing darkness jutsu, but he had learned it thinking that it could be used for tracking missions. What better way to get away with something you stole than to completely cut off your opponent's sense of sight? He was hurt from the hit Mizuki had landed, and he was low on chakra. Using the exploding shadow clones took a lot more chakra than regular clones, and the last clone had used up most of his chakra to pull off that huge explosion. Couple that with the fact that he had already used up a good amount on the shadow clones before, and the piercing shadow jutsu, and it was easy to see how Naruto was having a hard time standing. He looked into the hole and saw Mizuki had returned to normal except his skin seemed shriveled and gray. He saw that Mizuki was still conscious and had a confused look in his eyes. How? He asked. Easy. When I used the piercing darkness jutsu, my goal wasn't to defeat you with it. I used it to mask my movements. I was able to buy enough time for my clones to get Enko-Nezen and Iraka-Nezen out of here, and I was able to put my exploding shadow clones into position. Sure, I had to take a hit so you wouldn't get suspicious, but you never get something for nothing, Naruto said. Your one mistake was that you never considered that I may have learned more than one thing from the scroll, he said. Mizuki lost consciousness after that, and Naruto soon followed. Naruto woke up to see that he was in the hospital. He saw that Enko, Iraka, and the third were present and seemed to be talking about something. Hey, Naruto said. They looked at him in surprise. Enko rushed over and pulled him into a hug. Don't ever scare us like that again, Otacho, she said. Sorry about that, Nei-san. What am I doing in the hospital? He asked. Naruto, we found you in the forest collapsed beside Mizuki. You had 3 broken ribs and a concussion, as well as severe chakra exhaustion, Iraka said worriedly. Truth be told, not many people could survive after using so many high-class jutsu unless they were at least Jonin level. For Naruto to do it was astounding. That reminds me, Enko said as she punched Naruto in the head. Oh. What was that for, Nei-san? Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. That was for worrying us like that brat. When we saw you out there knocked out, my heart nearly stopped, she said quietly, as tears started to flow down her face. She hated crying as she thought it made her appear weak. Iraka placed a hand on her shoulder, which she gladly accepted. Any other man would have been met with a fist to his face, if he was lucky, but Iraka seemed to know just how to calm her down. Naruto sat up and also wrapped his arms around Enko. Sorry, Nei-san and Ai-san. I had to think fast or I was going to lose both of you. I would rather die than allow those precious to me to be killed, Naruto said, trying to comfort his sister. Sarutobi watched their exchange with a small smile. Naruto's influence on others was amazing. He himself had never known Enko to care so much for others, yet she was now a big sister to Naruto and possibly something more to Iraka. Iraka himself had had a hard life. With no parents and few friends, he was very similar to Naruto. Yet here he stood comforting a woman he cared about, and worrying about a boy that he thought of as a brother. He hated to interrupt, but he needed some information. Naruto, I need you to tell me everything Mizuki told you, he said. Naruto told them everything he knew, from when Mizuki first met him at the ramen stand, to the forest when he told Naruto's secret. Naruto paused at this point. Is it true? Naruto asked quietly. None of the adults needed for him to elaborate. They knew what he was referring to and they looked at each other to see who would tackle the question. Sarutobi sighed as he knew that it fell to him. Yes, it's true, Naruto. You have the Kyuubi sealed within you, he said sadly. Naruto looked at them with a sad expression. Why didn't anyone ever tell me? And why was I chosen? He asked. I made it a law, Naruto. I had hoped that if parents were unable to tell their children, then you would have a chance to make friends. Sadly, that plan failed. As for why you were chosen, well, the 4th needed a newborn and he knew that you would be perfect for the job, the Hokage said, looking very sad and tired. He knew the true reason as to why Naruto was chosen, but he didn't think Naruto was ready for that to be revealed yet. I meant what I said, Naruto, Iraka said, taking over. I hated you at first because you personified the loss of my parents, but later as I watched you I saw that we were very similar. Eventually you grew on me as a little brother, and I wouldn't have you any other way, he said with a smile. I knew all along as well, Ototo, Enko said. When I got to know you I saw the same pain that I went through in your eyes. You felt alone and abandoned, but your spirit wasn't broken. Initially I tried not to get too attached, but somewhere along the line I began to see you as my little brother, and just like Irika, I wouldn't have you any other way. Naruto felt a warm feeling spread over him as tears began to fall from his eyes. These people cared for him. They knew what he carried and yet still cared for him. They were able to see beyond the Kyuubi and see the young ninja that he strived to be. This fact kept him from wondering if he was cared for and further cemented his nindo. The villagers didn't see him, they saw the Kyuubi and refused to look any further, and yet these people did see beyond the fox and befriended him. He would give his life to protect these people. Well, Naruto, we're going to let you rest for a bit. Thanks to the Kyuubi you have a very fast healing ability, and should be fine to leave later on in the day, Sarutobi said. However, I must forbid you from using the piercing darkness technique, he said seriously. What? Why? Naruto asked. That technique had helped him save Anko and Irika, and it was a very useful technique. Because that technique is forbidden for a reason. While it may be very powerful, there are a few drawbacks to it. You have the chakra to use it but not the control. As I am sure that you noticed, it continues to drain your chakra even after activation, and without a good deal of chakra control it can become a handicap. Shadow clones and even exploding shadow clones are easy for you as they don't depend on such a high degree of control. Until you have a better control of your chakra, I must forbid you from using that technique unless you are in a dire situation, Sarutobi said. Fine, Naruto said with a sigh. He could dispute the wise leader's argument. He would have to work on his control before he could use that technique effectively. Good, now get some rest, he said as he left. When you get out I'll treat you to some ramen, Irika said as he patted Naruto on the back and left. See you later, Ototo. Now that you're a genin I'll start to teach you some of my more powerful techniques, Anko said as she ruffled his hair and left. Once they were gone, Naruto was left with his thoughts. They accept me, but what about Hinata-chan and Shino? Will they accept me as well? He thought. He was interrupted from his thoughts when someone knocked on his door. Come in, he said. The door opened and Hinata and Shino were standing there, much to Naruto's surprise. Hinata rushed to his side while Shino calmly walked to the foot of his bed. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Hinata asked worriedly. I'm fine, Hinata-chan, he said with a smile. What are you two doing here? Hinata heard that you were in the hospital, so she came to my house and we came to see you, Shino said. Nei-san told me that you were hurt. What happened, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Naruto told them about what had transpired. Hinata and Shino were surprised at the deception of Mizuki, as well as the fact that Naruto had learned not one but two techniques from the Forbidden Scroll. Naruto looked at them. They were his oldest and closest friends. Irika, Anko, Iam, Tuchi, and the third were all like family to him. Hinata and Shino were his only true friends, and right now he had to decide whether or not to tell them the whole truth. I don't know if I could take them hating or fearing me, he thought. At the same time he knew that unless there was complete trust between them, then they would never be able to function well as a team. Hinata, Shino, I also found out why the villagers hate me, he said quietly. He knew that this was a huge leap of faith. Either they would accept him, or he would lose his only friends. Either way, he wanted to tell someone who didn't have prior knowledge of the Kyuubi. Why do they hate you? Hinata asked curiously. Shino also looked interested. Naruto looked out of his window for a moment. He closed his eyes as he began to speak. 12 years ago, the Kyuubi attacked. He caused widespread destruction and death. Numerous ninja were killed. It seemed hopeless until the fourth Hokage arrived. He took on the Kyuubi all on his own and killed it at the cost of his own life, Naruto said. Hinata and Shino were confused about what this had to do with the villagers' hatred. Knowing that they must have been confused, Naruto took a deep breath and prepared to continue. This is it. Time to see what they really think of me, he thought. That isn't the truth, though. The Kyuubi couldn't be killed. The fourth sealed the Kyuubi inside a newborn child to protect the village, Naruto said. That child was me. Naruto waited with his eyes closed. He expected to feel Hinata's weight move from his side and hear them run out of the room. He expected Hinata to scream and Shino to yell at him, or simply saw that they weren't friends anymore. However, he was met with silence. He opened his eyes and was met with the soft lavender eyes of Hinata. They didn't hold anger, hate, or fear. They held sadness, comfort, admiration, and something else he couldn't identify. Why did you have your eyes closed, Naruto-kun? She asked as she raised a hand to his cheek and rubbed the whisker marks on his face. Did you expect me to run and hate you? I would never do that, Naruto-kun, I always knew that you were special and a great person, but now I know for sure that you are truly amazing, Naruto-kun. You have been protecting us for years without even knowing it. Even now, when you know the truth, I can see that you hold no malice or hate for the villagers for the way they treated you, Hinata said with admiration in her voice as well as a hint of sadness for the pain he must have gone through. No matter what, you are not a demon, you are Naruto Uzumaki. You are my friend and my hero and will become the Hokage one day, she said with a smile that caused a strange feeling inside Naruto's chest. I concur with Hinata, Naruto. You are our friend and you were the first person to ever treat me like a normal person. I actually feel closer to you now as we are both looked down upon and distrusted for what we hold within us, Shino said with a smile referring to his bugs. Naruto was moved to tears. They accept me, Kyuubi and all, he thought as tears began to fall from his eyes. Hinata wrapped him in a hug and comforted him, while Shino walked over and placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. All three of them knew what it felt like to be looked down upon. They were treated badly because of others' ideas about them. Hinata's former clan believed her to be weak and useless. Many people considered the Aburame clan to be a group of freaks because of their bugs. Naruto was hated because of the Kyuubi. Yet, they had found each other, and had formed bonds of friendship that had overcome even the greatest of secrets. Naruto had finally stopped crying and looked at his friends. Thanks so much, you guys, you have no idea what it feels like to get this off of my chest. Enkone-san and Iruka and Ai-san already knew and accepted me, but you two had no idea and yet you still accept me, he said with a large smile on his face. The villagers think that I am the Kyuubi in human form and some of the ninja are afraid that the Kyuubi will eventually overcome the seal and take me over, but I will never let that happen, Naruto said with a fire in his eyes. I will protect every precious person to me. I will keep the Kyuubi in check and become Hokage, regardless of what anyone else thinks, Naruto said as he held his hand out in front of him. And we will be right there beside you, Naruto-kun, every step of the way. So you don't have to carry this burden by yourself, Hinata said with a smile as she placed her hand on top of his. We will reach our dreams together, and always watch out for each other, Shino said as he too placed his hand on top of theirs. Darkness began to fall, but Naruto felt nothing but joy in his heart. Naruto looked over at the village from the Hokage's mountain. He had been released from the hospital a week ago, and had gone to eat ramen with Iruka. Strangely enough, Enko had also accompanied them. Naruto told them about Hinata and Shino's visit, and they were very happy that their little brother was accepted by his peers. They also knew of Hinata's crush on Naruto and planned to use that against him in the future. Naruto had left feeling on top of the world. His friends and family accepted him for who he was. Now he was overlooking the village in deep thought. Tomorrow would be the day that they were assigned teams. He felt assured that he would be on the same team as Hinata and Shino, and couldn't wait to start working as an official team. He also felt a little afraid. He wasn't a kid anymore. Once he had placed the leaf headband on his forehead, he was considered an adult. He would be given missions and expected to complete them. He would be asked to kill, and would have to kill at some point. While the thought of killing someone was hard for him to stomach, Enko and Iruka assured him that it was necessary. They told to think about it this way: would you rather it be them or your teammates? That was enough for Naruto. He would never let those close to him die if he had any say about it. If that meant taking out an opponent, then so be it. Naruto took a deep breath and released it slowly to relieve his tension. He smiled as he thought of what tomorrow would bring. Hello, Naruto. Naruto didn't even turn around. He knew who was behind him. You always come when something major has happened to me. Are you watching me all the time? Naruto asked as the mysterious man wrapped in a black robe stood beside him. So you were finally told the truth. What are you going to do now? He asked, completely ignoring Naruto's question. It seemed that whoever this man was, he only answered questions that he wanted to answer. Nothing has changed now except for the fact that I know what I am hated for. I will still become Hokage and I will protect all those who are precious to me, for that is my Nindo, Naruto said. The man was silent for a long time, as if he was considering something. Well then, Naruto, I have one more gift for you, he said as he reached into his robe. The man pulled out a sword. Yet this sword was different from anything Naruto had ever seen. The sheath was pure white with intricate gold designs on it. The man handed the sword to Naruto. Naruto examined the sheath for a moment before drawing the blade. Naruto was speechless as he saw the sword. The blade looked to be about 4 feet in length, and had a slight silver look to it. The handle was wrapped in white and gold wrappings and was very comfortable. The hand guard was what caught Naruto's attention. It was solid gold and had 2 dragon heads on opposite sides with their mouths open and pointed outward. It seemed as if they were protecting the blade itself. Naruto was speechless that this man would give him such a gift. There was something about this sword that just felt right being in his hand. "This is the Golden Dragon Sword, Naruto," the man said softly. "I hope that you put it to good use," he said as he began to walk away. "Wait!" yelled Naruto, having come out of the daze of receiving such a sword. "Why did you give this to me?" Naruto asked. The man refrained from turning around but still answered the young ninja. "What do you know about dragons, Naruto?" he asked. "Not much," Naruto replied, slightly confused about the question. "Dragons are said to be some of the most powerful and majestic creatures to ever inhabit the earth. Dragons are a symbol of peace, strength, virtue, wisdom, and power. They are also known to be great protectors and always fight for what is right," the man said. "This is why I have given you this sword, Naruto. You embody all of those attributes, and I have a feeling that you will need this sword in the future," he said as he began to walk away. "But I don't know how to use a sword," Naruto said. "Then I suggest that you learn. In this life you can't expect to be given everything you want. You will have to work hard to attain what you desire. You should know this better than anyone," the man said. "Oh, and one last thing, a great swordsman listens to his sword," he said as he disappeared into the night. Naruto watched him go, then returned his attention to the sword he was holding. "A great swordsman listens to his sword? What does that mean?" he thought as he sheathed the sword. He didn't know what the man meant when he said that he would need the sword in the future, but he was interested in what he had to say about dragons. "Oh well, I guess I will have to ask Nisan or Nasan if they know anyone who can use a sword," he thought as he put it through his belt and began to walk home. Tomorrow was the day that he would finally be placed on the same team as Hinata and Shino, and he couldn't wait. The next day came, and in the academy all of the children were seated and waiting for Iruka to announce the teams. Naruto had left the sword home as he wasn't skilled with it and didn't want to show it off yet. This, however, didn't keep him from telling Hinata and Shino that he had it. They were both stunned that he received such a gift and questioned the identity of the man. Naruto truthfully told them that he didn't know. All conversation was cut when Iruka walked into the class. He seemed very serious today, though many put his attitude to the fact that they weren't kids anymore. They were now ninja and seen as adults. Some would die, some would grow up to become competent ninja, and some would grow up to become legends. "Alright, I will begin to read off your team assignments. I just want to say first that I am proud of you all and to do your best," he said as he began to go down the list. Naruto was still thinking about the sword and the man's cryptic message. How was one supposed to listen to a sword? It seemed impossible, but then Naruto was known for doing the impossible. However, he wasn't stupid, he wouldn't use the sword until he had some basic training. He shook the thoughts away and listened to Iruka. "Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha," he said as every girl, with the exception of Hinata, began to pray that they were on the Uchiha's team. "Sakura Haruno." Sakura screamed for joy and began to rub it into Ino's face. Naruto simply shook his head and thanked Kami that he wasn't on this team. "And Naruto Uzumaki." Iruka finished with an annoyed expression on his face. "What?" yelled Naruto, Sakura, and strangely enough Hinata. Sakura looked horrified to be the same team as Naruto. Naruto looked at his Nisan with a mixture of betrayal and anger. Hinata looked enraged and even Shino had a deep frown on his face. "Would you care to repeat that, Nisan, because I know you must have read it wrong?" Naruto said, clearly angry. "I am sorry, Naruto, but these teams are authorized by the Hokage," Iruka said. He didn't like this any more than they did, and it showed on his face. "This is complete and utter crap. I should be on the same team as Hinata-chan and Shino, not Sakura and Sasuke," Naruto said. "Hey, what's wrong with me?" Sakura yelled. "Do you want a list?" Naruto asked. "Shut up," she said. "Enough. I'm sorry, Naruto, but this is what the Hokage ordered, you'll have to take it up with him. Your sensei is Kakashi Hatake," Iruka said as he began to read off the rest of the teams. Shino and Hinata were paired with Kiba under Kurenai, and Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino were under Asuma Saratobi. While Shino and Hinata were slightly happy to be on the same team, they were deeply troubled about Naruto. Naruto had his head down and refused to look at anyone. He couldn't believe that after all they had been through, they were going to be split apart. It felt like a large weight was slowly pressing down on his chest. Hinata and Shino were his best friends since the beginning to the year. All three worked extremely well together and had a closer bond than some teams in circulation. Hinata and Shino even knew Naruto's biggest secret and comforted and accepted him. All of this was going through Naruto's head as the teams were picked up by their sensei. Naruto didn't move from his position, hoping that this was all a sick dream and he would soon wake up. However, Kurenai soon came to collect her team and Hinata and Shino began to walk toward her. Hinata grabbed Naruto's hand and he looked up at them with tears in his eyes. "Well, at least you guys are on a team together. Be sure to look out for each other, okay?" Naruto said in a horribly sad tone as tears fell from his eyes. Hinata was also crying. She couldn't believe this was happening. They had been friends for a year now, and yet they had gone through and overcome problems that people twice their age hadn't experienced yet. It was Naruto who had saved her from her despair and helped her to become a better ninja. It was Naruto who always believed in her and comforted her when she was down. Naruto was the heart of their group, and even if she and Shino were on the same team, it would never be the same. Shino was normally a very quiet and conserved individual. He didn't overreact, when he reacted at all, to situations. Yet when he had heard the teams being made, he felt extremely angry. If someone were close to him, they would have heard a buzzing sound coming from within him. Naruto was the first person to be kind to him. He offered Shino friendship and belonging. No matter how apathetic the Aburame clan seemed, they still had feelings. Naruto had saved him from isolation and showed him what it meant to be around those that truly knew and accepted him. He was severely upset that Naruto wouldn't be on their team. He felt the same as Hinata, as he thought of Naruto as their team's heart. He placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder to try and comfort him. "I am very sorry about this, Naruto. Know that there is no one else I would rather have on my team than you. Even if we are on separate teams, we will always be friends, don't forget that," he said earnestly, as Hinata nodded her head in agreement. "I won't," Naruto said with a small smile. Naruto stuck his hand out and Hinata and Shino placed theirs on top of his. After a moment they walked away and joined Kiba in front of Kurenai. Kurenai looked at Naruto with sadness. Truth be told, she was ecstatic about the idea of being their sensei, but the third had vetoed her request to have Naruto on her team. After all the teams had gone, Iruka walked up to Naruto and placed a hand on his shoulder. "It will be okay, Naruto," Iruka said in a brotherly tone. "No, it won't," Naruto said as tears began to well up in his eyes again. Iruka looked at his younger brother and sighed. He could tell that Naruto was hurting and felt horrible when he had read the teams, but he couldn't do anything about it. He decided to give Naruto some time alone and walked away. He decided to go see what Enko was up to and give her the news, though he could tell that she wouldn't be happy in the least. The members of Team 7 were currently finding ways to pass the time as they waited for their sensei. Sasuke was brooding, Sakura was talking nonstop to Sasuke about dating, and Naruto was silent. The sadness about being on this team had faded. The anger, however, had increased. Naruto couldn't believe what had happened. The old man must have been going senile to think that this team would work. To Naruto, Sasuke was nothing but an arrogant ninja who thought he was better than everyone, and Sakura was nothing but a fangirl. Everything that came out of her mouth was about Sasuke, and it seriously ticked Naruto off. It didn't help that their sensei was already 2 hours late. Naruto was currently working on the argument he was going to present to the Hokage to have him change his team when Sakura opened her mouth. "Sasuke, I wonder how our team will do? I hope Naruto doesn't slow us down," she said to the Uchiha, who was still ignoring her. Naruto ignored her and started to rap his fingers on the desk in boredom. "Where is this guy? Not only is he incredibly late, but if he doesn't get here soon, I may let out my frustration on Sakura," Naruto thought. "Hey Naruto, stop that, you're upsetting Sasuke-kun," Sakura screeched. "Oh, please excuse me, I forgot that Sasuke was Kami himself," Naruto said sarcastically. "Shut up, Naruto. You shouldn't even be on this team," she yelled. "You're right. And if I had it my way, then I wouldn't be here," Naruto yelled angrily. He was in no mood to deal with Sakura's crap. Suddenly the door opened and a man entered. He had silver hair that stood up at an odd angle, a face mask that covered everything under his nose, and wore his head band over his left eye. "Are you guys Team 7? He asked lazily. "Yeah, and who are you?" Naruto asked. "Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes," the man said, and he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. The members of Team 7 looked at each other and headed toward the roof. When everyone had been situated on the roof, the Jonin began to speak. "I am your sensei, Kakashi Hatake. Now why don't we go over introductions?" he said. Why don't you go first, sensei? Sakura said. Fine, my name is Kakashi Hataki. I have many hobbies. I don't feel like telling you about my plans for the future, and my likes and dislikes are none of your concern, he said with a smile. The only thing we learned was his name, the three genin thought. Okay, you first, he said, pointing at Naruto. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, Hinata-chan, Shino, my Nei-san and Nai-san, and I used to like the third. I dislike those who think they're better than everyone else, those who judge others without getting to know them, and I currently dislike this team. My goal is to become the Hokage, Naruto said. Oh, and why is that? Kakashi asked. I don't feel the need to tell you, Naruto said. Fair enough, Kakashi said, slightly worried about Naruto's attitude. You next, Pinky. My name is Sakura Haruno. I like, she said, looking at Sasuke with a blush. My hobbies include, she once again looks at Sasuke. My plans for the future are, she once again looked at Sasuke. And what do you hate? Kakashi said with a sigh. He hated how most girls were too focused on boys at this age. Naruto! She yelled, sending Naruto an angry look. Somehow I think I'll survive, Naruto said, returning her look. He had just about had it with Sakura. Kakashi tried to break the tension. Okay, calm down. You next, Uchiha, he said. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I have no likes and many dislikes, one of which being those who don't know their place, he said, looking at Naruto, and receiving a glare in return. My dream is more of an ambition. I will kill a certain man, he said darkly. He's so cool, Sakura thought. Whatever Naruto thought, not caring about the Uchiha's ambition. He is still too focused on hatred and revenge, Kakashi thought. Okay, meet me at the training field at 8 o'clock tomorrow for a survival test, and don't eat breakfast or you'll puke, he said with a smile as he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. I've got to learn that, Naruto said absently. Like you could, Sasuke said. Yeah, Naruto, you could never do something that cool, Sakura said, trying to get on Sasuke's good side by attacking Naruto. Naruto had to physically restrain himself. Today was not the day to screw with him, and yet they kept trying to put him down. This is why he hated this team already. They treated him like crap without ever even trying to get to know him. He knew that if he stayed any longer, then he would likely explode on one or both of them. Naruto simply turned and began to walk away. Whatever, I'm going to see the old man and get changed to Hinata-chan's team, Naruto said. Good, losers should stay together. This way you won't hold me back, Sasuke said. Naruto stopped dead in his tracks. He was desperately trying to control his anger, but the Uchiha had crossed the line. Naruto didn't care what others said about him, but when his friends were insulted, he wouldn't hesitate to defend them. Yeah, go with the creepy bug boy Shino, and that shy weird girl Hinata. You losers should stick together, Sakura said, not knowing that this was the straw that would break the camel's back. Shut up, Naruto yelled. This stunned the two genin, as Naruto had not yelled in anger since the beginning of the year. You two have absolutely no idea what you are talking about. You don't know a thing about Shino, Hinata, or me. And you know something, you don't even try to. You simply sit back and criticize us without knowing a thing you're talking about. Tell me, have you ever been thrown out of your house by your own family into the street like trash? Have you ever been looked at like you were a freak just because of your family's jutsu? Have you ever had people treat you like dirt and tell you that you should die? Naruto yelled at them, enraged. He had had enough of their crap. He normally would have let it go, but this day had been long and tiring and he was venting his emotions. I would give anything to be with Hinata and Shino right now. They understand me. They accept me. They never criticize me, but instead encourage me and help me. You have never done those things. I have avoided you two for that very reason, and now I may be stuck with you. I am going right now to change this, so kindly shut up and leave me alone, Naruto said, giving the two a glare as cold as ice. He left them there, shocked into silence. Sasuke eventually stood up and left, while Sakura stayed for a moment longer thinking on Naruto's words. Naruto stormed out of the Hokage's office in a rage. The old man had refused to change the teams, and even had the gall to ask that Naruto try and work together peacefully with Sasuke and Sakura. The old man had lost a lot of Naruto's respect, and he knew it. Sarutobi watched him go with a sigh. This decision was causing more problems than he initially thought. Earlier in the day, Enko had literally kicked his door in and asked what he was thinking. Iruka was there with her, and while he normally could calm her down, he too was wondering what the old leader was thinking. He had told them that his decision was final and that it was for the best. Enko had stormed out in a rage similar to what Naruto had just done, and even Iruka was visibly shaking with frustration. His decision had caused problems as soon as he made it, as a matter of fact. This whole mess had started last night when the teams were created. Flashback. Sarutobi was looking at the Jonin who had qualified to become Jonin instructors. Iruka was also there as he was the head instructor for the graduating class. Everything was going smoothly until the last 3 Jonin came up. They were Kurenai Yuhi, Asuma Sarutobi, and Kakashi Hataki. While the other instructors had simply taken 3 genin, these 3 Jonin had requested their genin. Asuma wanted Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji, as their fathers were a great team and he wanted to teach the second generation of the Ino Shikacho team. The problem came with Kakashi and Kurenai. I would like Hinata Yuhi, Shino Abirame, and Naruto Uzumaki, Kurenai said. She had been training with them for a few months with Enko and all of them had impressed her. Hinata was officially her little sister, and after meeting Naruto she could see why Hinata had a crush on him. Shino was also interesting to her. Her interactions with the Abirame were very few and thus she didn't know what to expect from him. He had proved all of the stereotypes wrong in that he wasn't unemotional. He may have come off that way at first, but when you had gained his trust he was very open with his thoughts and feelings. They had great teamwork as they took each other's opinions into account before doing anything. There wasn't a central leader as they followed whoever had the best decision. Thus they didn't run across the problem of members fighting over the leadership position as other, older teams had. She could see that they would become a great team, and wanted to teach them. Kakashi, however, had other ideas. I object, Hokage-sama. I think that I should be given Naruto, he said. And why is that? You already have Sasuke Uchiha, and he is the Rookie of the Year. You also have Sakura Haruno who had the highest grades in the class. Having Naruto on your team would make it completely overbalanced, Kurenai argued. That may be, but your team will predominantly be used for tracking and retrieving. Thus it makes more sense for you to teach Kiba and Izuka, Kakashi said in return. That may be, but Naruto has been training with Shino and Hinata for a long time under the instruction of Enko and myself. They already work together extremely well and have no problems with each other. Kurenai fired back. She wasn't about to lose this argument and have Naruto separated from Hinata and Shino. It would crush all 3 of them. Be that as it may, Naruto has improved vastly since entering the academy from what I have been told. If this is true then he needs an instructor that can bring out the best in him, and sadly that wouldn't be you, Kurenai, Kakashi said calmly, ignoring the glare being given to him by Kurenai. Oh? And why is that, Kakashi? She asked with an edge in her voice. Because your specialty is genjutsu and Naruto will never be able to pull off any genjutsu. His chakra reservoirs are simply too large. He also wouldn't be able to learn anything from Hinata or Shino as they rely on clan-based attacks that need a bloodline limit, Kakashi said. He can learn a lot from me, however. His large chakra reservoirs are perfect for powerful ninjutsu, and I happen to be a specialist with them. Sasuke also seems to have a bit of a rivalry with Naruto, so they would be able to push each other to greater heights, he added. You are forgetting that Naruto and Sasuke are not friendly toward each other at all. From what I've seen, Sasuke has an ego problem which would clash with Naruto's personality. They would probably end up fighting each other over who would lead, and that could be disastrous, Kurenai replied back. Sarutobi watched the 2 Jonin in front of him go back and forth over who would keep Naruto. Both had sound arguments, and it didn't seem like either of them were going to give up. Kurenai had grown to like Naruto as he was able to help Hinata in her time of need and because he was a good student. Kakashi wanted to train Naruto because he felt that it was his job to train his sensei's son. Yes, Kakashi was one of the few to know that Naruto was the son of the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, who was ironically Kakashi's sensei. Sarutobi sighed. He knew that it was going to come down to his decision over who would keep Naruto. While he worked extremely well with Hinata and Shino, Kakashi had a point in that he couldn't learn any of their techniques. Also, Kurenai's team was supposed to be a tracking team and Kiba's tracking skills were first-rate, as he came from the Inuzuka clan. Another thing that was on his mind was about Naruto's ability to change others. Just by looking at Hinata and Shino, it could be seen that both had improved because of Naruto's presence. While Sasuke was talented and Sakura smart, they both could use improvement, and Naruto seemed to be the one who specialized in changing others for the best. It was possible that he could calm Sasuke down about getting his revenge and help Sakura become a true Kunoichi like he had done with Hinata. At the same time, Naruto didn't get along with either of the 2 well and there was sure to be friction. Enough, I have made my decision, he said, silencing the 2 bickering Jonin. Naruto will be paired with Sakura and Sasuke, he said. Hokage-sama, I beg you to reconsider. Kurina yelled in panic. She could just see the broken-hearted look on Hinata's face already. I am sorry, Kurina, but you will have Kiba on your team. My decision is final, he said. Hi, Hokage-sama. Kurina said sadly. She just knew that this was going to cause a lot of problems. Alright, if there is nothing else then you are dismissed, Sarutobi said. As the Jonin left the room, Sarutobi was met with the sad, yet angry eyes of Irika. Sarutobi knew that he wasn't happy about this and that Naruto wouldn't be either, but he believed that it was for the best. Kakashi would be able to bring out Naruto's potential, and Naruto may be able to change Sasuke and Sakura for the better. There was one more thing that had influenced his decision, though. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura reminded him of Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade in terms of skill and temperament. He had failed at teaching those three as they were no longer a team, but he hoped that this new team would be able to achieve the greatness of the three Sannin without sharing the same fate as they did. Sarutobi sighed tiredly again. He just knew that this was going to cause problems tomorrow. End flashback. I hope that this works out, Sarutobi thought. He thought of Naruto as another grandson, and the look of betrayal and anger in his eyes when his request to change teams was denied hurt Sarutobi. Naruto walked down the street angrily. He couldn't believe the old man. All he wanted was to be put on the same team as his best friends. Was that too much to ask? He couldn't stand Sakura's constant nagging about how great Sasuke was and how stupid he was. He certainly couldn't, and wouldn't put up with Sasuke's attitude. If there was one thing that royally ticked him off, it was Sasuke's superiority complex. As Naruto walked down the street, he noticed that the villagers were giving the same looks of hatred and annoyance. Naruto didn't put a fake smile on his face, nor did he ignore them. He instead glared right back at them. This caused many to flinch back when they saw the look on his face. They had never seen him angry and decided to back off. Naruto went to the training fields to let off some steam. He trashed a few dummies and worked himself into the ground. As he lay panting on the ground, he reflected on the past. He saw himself, Shino and Hinata training, eating, and laughing together. He realized that those days would be gone for a while as they had obligations to their team. Naruto was once again without his friends, and he felt the cold feeling of loneliness beginning to grab his heart. He started to cry again about the injustices that he had to put up with. There you are, brat. Naruto looked up and saw Anko standing there. Normally she had a smirk of humor on her face, but now he could only see sadness. Anko walked over to him and sat down beside him. She wrapped an arm around him to try and comfort him. Normally she shied away from public shows of affection to him as she didn't want to appear weak, but she knew that right now he needed a shoulder to cry on. Naruto leaned into the hug and continued to cry. It isn't fair, he said sadly. No, it isn't. But you have to suck it up, Anko replied. Though her words were harsh, her tone was gentle. Right now you feel like the world is against you, you feel betrayed, and lonely as the only ones who truly understood you are no longer around, right? She asked, although it was more of a statement. Yeah, Naruto said, slightly surprised by his Nei-san's perceptive skills. Don't worry about it, Naruto. They haven't left you and you will always be friends. You may not be on the same team, but your bonds will never disappear. Promise me that you won't let this keep you from doing your best, because I can tell you now that no little brother of mine is a quitter, she said strongly. Yeah, right, like I would ever quit because of this, Naruto said a bit stronger. Good, now wipe your eyes and get ready for tomorrow. You have a survival test to pass, she said as she got up and pulled him to his feet. I'm surprised you aren't upset about this, Naruto said with a small smile. You should have seen me earlier. If it wasn't for Irika, I may have attacked the old man myself. I was just as angry as you, but I didn't let it control me. You have to overcome this and face facts that this is the way it is, and it's not going to change, she said. Yeah, I know. I will fulfill my goal of being Hokage. I just wish Hinata-chan and Shino were there with me, he said with a wistful look on his face. We don't get everything we want in this life, Naruto. We can only make the best of what we're given, she said as she ruffled his hair and began to walk away. Thanks, Nei-san, he said. Anko simply waved a hand in his direction. She's right. I may not like what has happened, but I will make the best of it. If becoming the Hokage means that I have to be on the same team as Sasuke and Sakura, then so be it. I may not like them, but I am willing to work with them, he thought as he began his own trek home. Naruto awoke at 7:30 a.m. He quickly got dressed, ate breakfast, and gathered his gear. As he left his apartment, he thought about what lay in store for him. I may be willing to work with them, but is the same true for them? He thought. He was still far from happy with his team arrangements, but there really was nothing he could do about it. He arrived at the training grounds to see Sasuke and Sakura already waiting. With a sigh, he walked over to them. Hey, he said as he sat down beside Sakura. What are you doing here? I thought you were going to change teams, Sakura said. The old man denied my request, so it seems that I am stuck with you too, Naruto said solemnly. I guess two losers on the same team is the max, Sasuke said nastily. Sasuke suddenly found himself lifted up by his shirt and staring into the face of an angry Naruto. He found himself staring at the same cold stare that Naruto had given them yesterday. Listen to me, Uchiha, and listen well. I don't like you, and you don't like me, but we are on the same team and I am willing to put my feelings aside to work together with you. However, I will not allow you to insult my friends. If you don't having anything productive to say, then kindly keep your mouth shut, Naruto said angrily. He may have been willing to work with them, but he was not going to take their crap. Hey, leave Sasuke alone, Naruto, Sakura yelled, though she quickly shut up when she was met with the same icy stare as Sasuke. Naruto dropped Sasuke to the ground and walked away from them. This is going to be a long day, he thought. The three genin were left waiting for 2 hours. Naruto had distanced himself away from them as he didn't want to deal with them. Sakura had eventually stopped trying to get Sasuke to go on a date with her, and was sitting quietly wondering where their sensei was. Sasuke was brooding, and trying to figure out how Naruto had gotten so strong. He would never admit it, but when Naruto had grabbed him, he had felt slightly afraid of the blonde and the look of anger in his eyes. Finally, Kakashi appeared and looked at his potential team. He saw a lot of his old team in them. Sakura was similar to Rin in that she fawned over Sasuke the same way that Rin had fawned him. Sasuke was so similar to him that it was scary. They were both silent and reserved and were considered geniuses. Kakashi hoped that he would be able to break Sasuke out of his current mindset of superiority, as he had been, just without the death of a teammate being the catalyst. Naruto was a surprise to him, though. He initially saw a lot of Obito in Naruto, but that had changed as of late. Naruto was nothing like he used to be, and Kakashi was at a loss as to what could have caused this transformation. He doubted that it was Kurenai or ankle, and he was very interested in his growth rate. Kakashi shook out of his thoughts when Sakura noticed him and yelled that he was late. Sorry about that, but I ran across a black cat and had to retrace my steps, he said. Sakura called him a liar, Sasuke gave him a dark look, and Naruto seemed to ignore the excuse. Anyway, this will be a survival test. You have until noon to get one of these bells from me, he said as he showed them the 2 silver bells. Sensei, there are only 2 bells, Sakura said confused. I know. One of you will fail and be sent back to the academy, only 2 can pass, he said with a smile. He noticed that Sakura and Sasuke had alarmed expressions on their faces while Naruto simply looked thoughtful. Anyway, the one who does the poorest will be tied to a log and won't be able to eat lunch, Kakashi finished with a smile. So that's why you told us not to eat breakfast, Naruto commented, though he himself had ignored that rule. That's right, alright, begin, he said. All 3 of the genin jumped into the forest to plan their method of attack. Well, let's see what they can do, he thought, while pulling out his Ika book. Naruto was in a tree thinking about the test. Something seemed off about it. By bringing 2 bells, Kakashi was essentially turning them against each other. If they were going to be a team, then why would he start with such an unorthodox method? And then there was his threat of being sent back to the academy. As far as he knew, there never existed a 2-man squad. If this was the case, then why did he purposefully split them apart? He shook his head as he saw Sasuke attack their sensei. Needless to say, the Uchiha was getting tossed around. While Naruto was interested in the fact that he knew the fireball jutsu, he was less than impressed with the power behind it. He saw Kakashi pull Sasuke into the ground up to his neck and calmly walk away. Naruto didn't know what to think about this test, but he knew that he was no match for a Jonin. As far as he knew, Kakashi was one of the best, and he couldn't even beat his Naisan in a fight. If he is going to have any chance at all, then he was going to have to get help. He sighed as he heard Sakura's scream. He knew that working with them would probably be as hard as pulling out his own teeth, but as his Naisan said, he had to make do with what he had. Kakashi was leaning against a tree with his face in his book. He was not paying any attention to it, however. He was busy contemplating what had happened so far in his test. Sasuke was the first to come at him. He used traps very well to get Kakashi into position for a fire jutsu, and he admitted that Sasuke had a lot of talent, but that was far from enough. When Kakashi had commented that he couldn't win on his own, Sasuke had retorted that he didn't need anyone's help. Kakashi could only sigh at Sasuke's superiority complex. Sakura was an even bigger disappointment. All he did was a simple genjutsu, and she was knocked out. It was pretty pathetic, and she had a long way to go if she wanted to be a good ninja. Naruto was nowhere to be found. He had expected Naruto to come out eventually and challenge him, yet the blonde ninja had kept silent so far. He was the only one who seemed to think about what he had said, without taking it at face value like Sakura and Sasuke had. This was a big part as to why he wanted Naruto on his team. He seemed to think things through, and Kakashi hoped that he would be the heart of the team as Obito was to his team, and bring them together. Suddenly Kakashi was forced to dodge a few shuriken thrown at him. He looked up to see Naruto in a tree, with an intense look on his face that reminded him of his sensei. "Yo sensei, what's up with this test? You tell us we're a team yet you give us a test that specifically splits us apart," Naruto said. "Well, why don't you figure it out, Naruto?" Kakashi said lazily. Naruto simply looked at him for a minute, then suddenly attacked. Kakashi sighed. He had hoped that Naruto would figure it out. He prepared to dodge the genin's attacks only to find that this wasn't as easy as he initially thought. He was using some style that he had never seen before. Kakashi had a difficult time predicting his next attack. However, while Naruto's style was hard to predict, it was far from perfect, as Kakashi could see slight hesitations in the way he fought. Kakashi took advantage of this to get behind him. "1,000 years of death!" he yelled as he poked Naruto in the butt and sent him flying into the air. Naruto simply vanished in a burst of smoke. So that was a shadow clone, Kakashi thought. He was impressed that a shadow clone was able to fight so well against him. He looked around to see if Naruto was going to use this to his advantage, but when nothing happened, he simply reopened his book and waited once again. They would either work together, or they would fail. Naruto was walking towards Sakura when he got the memories of his clone. He knew that the clone wouldn't stand a chance. He simply wanted to test his style against his sensei, and he was slightly impressed. It seemed that not even a jonin of his level could predict his style, but that didn't make it perfect, as the result of the fight clearly indicated. He walked towards Sakura's body and woke her up by releasing a small chakra pulse that Kurenai had taught him when they trained together. She instantly awoke and looked around. "Where's Sasuke?" she asked. "He's pushing up daisies," Naruto said simply as he walked away. "Hey, where are you going?" she asked. "Sakura, has there ever been a two-man squad in the history of Konoha?" he asked, ignoring her question. What does that have to do with anything?" she asked him with a confused look on her face. Naruto simply looked at her with an "are you stupid" look. "Just answer the question," he said with a sigh. "No, not that I can remember," she said. She normally would have been upset with the way he was treating her, like she was an annoyance, but she remembered how angry he could get, and so let it go. "Let's go and dig up Sasuke," Naruto said as he began to walk away again. Sakura was still confused but decided to follow him since he was leading her to Sasuke. Sasuke saw Naruto coming toward him with Sakura in tow. "What are you doing here?" he asked suspiciously. "I'm here to dig your sari butt out of that hole," Naruto said, ignoring Sakura's scream and subsequent fainting at seeing Sasuke's head. "I don't need your help," Sasuke said. "Fine, then get out of there on your own," Naruto said as he crossed his arms. Sasuke gave him a glare but didn't say anything. "That's what I thought," Naruto said as he began to dig the Uchiha up. After Naruto had excavated the Uchiha and awoken Sakura, he began to think through the whole scenario. Their teacher was purposefully trying to pit them against each other. They each had no chance against the Jonin separately, and even working together the chance of victory was slim. If all this was true and there had never been a two-man squad, then the main goal must have been teamwork. "I think I know what this test is all about," Naruto said. "What do you mean, Naruto?" "We have to get the bells," Sakura said. "Wrong, why would he only bring 2 bells? Why the threat about going back to the academy? He is trying to split us up. The true purpose must be teamwork," Naruto said. "Whatever, I don't need to work with you two to get a bell," Sasuke said as he began to walk away. Naruto moved in front of him to block his path. "Listen, Sasuke, I don't care how good you think you are, but none of us are good enough to beat a Jonin," Naruto said testily. "Get out of my way, dope," I don't have time to play ninja with you. I will fulfill my ambition, even if it means going against a Jonin, Sasuke said as he tried to push his way through Naruto. Naruto grabbed his arm, twisted it behind his back, and pushed him face first into a tree without releasing his hold. Look, Uchiha, I have had it with your superiority complex. I don't care about your ambition or your dreams. If you go out there alone, then you will be beaten again, and I won't be there to pull you out of the dirt this time, Naruto said angrily as he released Sasuke. Naruto, leave Sasuke alone, Sakura yelled. Shut up, Sakura, you were taken out by a simple genjutsu that a genin should have easily seen through. You both have gone it alone and have been beaten. If we work together as a team, then we may be able to accomplish something, Naruto said, once again beginning to lose his temper. Sakura looked at the ground in embarrassment, and while Sasuke looked extremely angry at Naruto, he was going to listen. He was smart enough to see Naruto's point, even if he wouldn't admit that out loud. He would do what the Dobe had in mind so that he could be a genin, but afterwards he was going to do things his own way. Now, then, are you willing to listen to me? Naruto asked. Both genin looked at each other, and then nodded. Here's what we do, Naruto said. Kakashi looked at the clock and saw that they only had a few minutes before time was up. I wonder what's keeping them, he thought. He then heard fighting occurring nearby and went to investigate. He saw Naruto and Sasuke fighting amongst themselves and Sakura yelling at Naruto. Kakashi sighed. It seemed that he wasn't going to be able to pass them after all. He went down to break them up. After separating Sasuke and Naruto, he tied all three of them to a log and began to scold them when all three said one thing. Boom. They exploded and dust was kicked up, obscuring his vision. That was pretty clever, Kakashi thought as he waited to see what they had in store next. He didn't have to wait long as numerous Naruto clones came forward to attack him. Their unorthodox fighting style combined with the smoke and dust to make fighting them slightly more difficult. While Kakashi eventually dispatched them, he wasn't able to rest. Fireball Jutsu. Hidden Shadow Snakes. Kakashi dodged a fireball and saw snakes attempting to grab him. He grabbed one of the snakes and pulled Naruto toward him. As he prepared to toss the genin, he had to release him to avoid a horde of kunai and shuriken thrown at him by Sakura. So they figured it out, Kakashi thought with a smile. The dust cleared and Kakashi found himself surrounded by his team. Sasuke had the seal for another fireball. Naruto also had a seal for a technique that he wasn't familiar with. Sakura held kunai and shuriken at the ready. Suddenly the bell rang. Well, it seems that you failed to get the bells, Kakashi said with a smile. Maybe, but you never expected us to get them in the first place, Naruto said, releasing the seal. Yeah, you just wanted us to work as a team, Sakura said. That's true, the true purpose of this exam was to see if you could work together as a team even when you were forced to work separately, Kakashi said. Any idiot could see that, Sasuke said with a snort. Then why didn't you? Naruto said. Shut up, Dobe, Sasuke said angrily. Make me Sasuke. I was the one who discovered the true purpose of this exam, not you, so get off of your high horse, Naruto said angrily. You don't want to start a fight with me, Dobe, Sasuke said equally angry. Yeah, I wouldn't want to damage your pride again, would I? Naruto sarcastically replied. Naruto, you shouldn't say that to Sasuke, Sakura said. Enough, Kakashi said, quieting the genin. It was obvious that while they had worked well together temporarily, they still had no love between them. You are now a team. You need to overcome your differences and work together. Those who disobey the rules are trash, but those that abandon their comrades are less than trash, he said. Sasuke, you need to learn to get off of your high horse and work with the others. Sakura, your skills are well below where they could be. You need to work harder. Naruto, while you did figure out the purpose behind the exam, you need to work on your people skills, Kakashi said. Naruto stared at him with anger in his eyes. What? My people skills are just fine when the ones I'm talking to are intelligent and don't have an irrational dislike toward me. What about you? There are plenty of different ways that you could have used to teach us teamwork. This was pretty obscure and stupid if you asked me, Naruto said hotly. He didn't need to be lectured by someone who was chronically late and seemed to enjoy giving misdirection to his students. Your job is to teach us things, but so far all I've learned is that we have to be careful of everything you say, as it could be false information. While a ninja should look underneath the underneath, that shouldn't apply to comrades. We need to learn to completely trust each other, and I can tell you right now that this entire test has done nothing but make me not trust you very much," Naruto said. When he was training with Hinata and Shino, they had overcome their problems by sitting down and talking things out. They learned to trust each other first and foremost, and teamwork simply spanned form there. Kakashi was doing it all backwards in his opinion. "Maybe, but it all worked out anyway. Meet me here tomorrow for your first team assignment," he said as he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. The genin looked at each other, and all went their separate ways. I knew this was going to be a long day, Naruto thought as he walked home. He knew this team was going to be tough to work with. Sasuke was going to be a constant irritant, and they would continually butt heads. Sakura could be tolerable if she shut up, but the problem was that she never did, and her skills were pathetic. Kakashi was chronically late, and his teaching skills were questionable at best. He went to his apartment physically and emotionally drained. He hoped that things would get easier. Unfortunately for Naruto, things didn't. The next day they were told that they were going to start D-rank missions. These missions were extremely simple and were more like chores. This frustrated Naruto, as he would much rather practice on his own than be grouped with his team doing these stupid missions. Enko had given him some scrolls on simple kenjutsu basics to learn so that he could use the golden dragon sword that was given to him. He would practice on the weekends and was improving, though he refrained from bringing it on missions as it was hardly necessary. Team 7 was currently standing before the Hokage awaiting another mission. Kakashi had his book out but wasn't reading it. His team was not living up to his expectations. He had hoped that Naruto's presence would help Sasuke calm down, as he hoped they would eventually form a rivalry and become closer as friends, just as he had done with Obito. This, however, never happened for various reasons. While Sasuke wanted to prove his strength against Naruto, the reverse was not true. Naruto seemed to have no willingness to compete with Sasuke at all, and this only served to further infuriate Sasuke and bring more tension to the group. Sakura had also been a disappointment. She continued to fawn over Sasuke, though she had refrained from insulting Naruto as she feared his anger. She was far from a competent ninja and was the team's weak link. Naruto was also not living up to what Kakashi had planned for him to. He wanted Naruto to become the heart of the team, but it was painfully obvious that Naruto had no desire to bond with them. He would work with them to complete a mission, but he didn't open up to any of them and refrained from talking unless he had to. To put it simply, his team was an unmitigated disaster. The third looked at the team before him with the same thoughts as Kakashi. He had hoped that they would overcome their differences and become a team of the same caliber as the Sannin, but that simply wasn't happening. Not only were their personal interactions between each other nearly non-existent, but they had come close to attacking each other, from what he had heard. It seemed that Sasuke wanted to take the lead for every mission and would ignore Naruto's suggestions. This in turn would anger Naruto, and they would have a verbal argument that had to be broken up by Kakashi. Sakura simply agreed with Sasuke all of the time, and thus was of no help. Sarutobi sighed as he looked at Naruto. He had started to refer to him as Hokage-sama, which was a sign that he had lost Naruto's respect. Even now he saw no warmth in his eyes, just boredom, anger, and frustration. Sarutobi could see that unless something changed, then this team would never be progressed to their full potential. "Alright, Team 7, it's time for another mission," he said as he looked through the D-rank missions. "Hokage-sama, if I may. I believe that we should be given a C-rank mission," Kakashi said quickly. This shocked all who were present. "Oh? And why is that, Kakashi?" Sarep asked. "Well, Hokage-sama, my team has done the minimum number of D-rank missions needed to be completed before we are able to request a C-rank mission," he said. "Be that as it may, from what I've heard your team doesn't work very well together. I don't think that they are ready," Sarutobi said. "That may be, Hokage-sama. But the missions we have been doing right now seem to bore my students. Maybe if they were given a higher class mission then they would improve," Kakashi said. Sarutobi looked at him. Normally he wouldn't do this, but he could see the look of interest and anticipation in the genin's eyes. Maybe being out in the world will help them grow closer together, he thought. "Alright, I do have a simple mission for them. All you have to do is guard someone and lead them back to their country. You can come in now," he said. An old man came in. He had a straw hat, an old worn gray shirt and pants, and a bottle of sake in his hand. "These are the brats that are supposed to be protecting me. What a joke, especially the short blonde one," he said. Naruto didn't react except to glare at the old man, which seemed to be enough as he backed off when he met the cold blue eyes of the genin. "Don't worry, I am a jonin and will be able to protect you if anything were to go awry," Kakashi said.